Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Podcast Tak Berlesen. And we are done with Hari Raya. So, Lynn, you have a guitar beside you. Have you been learning guitar over Raya?
Let me show you a gift.
What? Isn't that yours?
Yeah, it's not mine.
It's
not mine.
Okay.
It's actually our guest guitar.
Not
the only item he brought. He actually brought, I think he brought like three. Is it 3 or 4?
Definitely more than one.
More than one. This
More
is
than
the
one.
most item that we got compared to everyone else. So I'm excited to hear all the story behind this. Not the guitar itself, but the story behind the guitar.
Okay. I thought you just turn the guitar around and you can see.
Here it is.
the guitar.
This is not mine. I don't want to touch it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm scared too.
I don't want to
scared.
finger at someone else's item. Hari Raya minta maaf.
Yeah.
Hari Raya.
yeah. It is still technically Raya when we record this. Yeah, and of course, before we begin, we'd first like to give a shout out to those who are supporting our podcast. Yes, we'd like to say thank you to Acer Helios, who is actually supporting our podcast with a monitor behind and also our production PC as well. So thank you to Acer Helios for supporting our podcast.
Should I put a lower tone of...
That would be a good idea, maybe.
Okay, I will.
Today we have like the actual
the logo is always here.
Yeah.
I'm showing the logo. The logo.
It's past bulan puasa, people, so please forgive Lynn.
I got too much sugar. We just went back for the event and there's so much sugar.
Yeah, we're gonna release all that sugar, ladies and gentlemen. But so Lynn,
this is taking so long.
I know, right? What a long mukadima.
Yeah.
What songs can you play on the guitar?
I want to say happy birthday, but I don't think I can play happy birthday anymore.
Okay, we leave that to the expert because we're gonna introduce Victor.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Okay, I cut short that one. Not bad, huh?
Thank you for saving me. I have no idea what song I'm going to play.
Well, in case it's your first time knowing who Victor is, for whatever reason, this guy is multi-talented. He can basically do anything. The guitar, the maybe if you can see in frame.
Wait,
You can see in frame.
Can see?
All right.
Yeah. You can.
It's a
see it, you can see it.
skateboard
It's a
and
skateboard.
there's a yo-yo. Yeah.
If people still remember what a yo-yo is,
Oh my
I
goodness.
need to say that because the last time yo-yo was on television was how long ago?
Oh man, I don't even know. I don't
Super
watch
Yo-Yo
TV.
was the last one.
Super Yo-Yo. Oh damn, there was like two different. There was two different eras of Super Yo-Yo. If I
Yes,
recall correctly.
the first one and the one that I don't want to talk about. It was so bad.
Yeah, the comeback season was not that great, but but then again, that was also around the time when I started learning how to not only I've learned how to play yo-yos, but it's also the time when I went around and started teaching other kids how to play yo-yos as well.
You teach as well?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow, we're gonna get to that story soon, right? But just for an introduction for people who, for the first time knowing you, like, how would you introduce yourself?
Wow. Oh, this has always been a bit of a tough one because, like, obviously, like, I have so many things that I do, so it's quite hard for me to condense into one. But simply, I will always introduce myself as, like, I'm a commentator. Like, I do commentaries for esports. I do commentary for motorsports, and at the same time, I'm also like a producer. I also know how to do technical support for events, and also like do basically anything. Like
You do everything.
even in commentary as well as like I'm always the kind of person that like can cast anything, it seems, because I tend to get like the weirdest gigs sometimes. Like like I started off with Dota, then I went from Dota to Counter-Strike, and from that
That's
went
still
on
normal.
to Overwatch, and then
Yeah.
Overwatch went to like MLBB. Then I did PUBG.
Brawl
I've once
Stars.
done Brawl Stars. I've also done like Tekken. I've also done
Your motorsports.
motorsports and real life motorsports.
Wait,
as
real
well.
life as well?
Yeah, real life motorsports as well.
Yeah.
So
It's easier to probably ask him what games have you not done.
so one that I've not done that I would love to have to do actually is like StarCraft.
Why
Because it's-
StarCraft?
Because it's like I'll probably get into it a bit when I talk about like my origins, but StarCraft was like literally my first love actually. Like
So that's your first esport
Yeah, that
gateway.
was literally my first like window into the world of esports, as it were. You know, it's like learning about legends such as Jaedong, Boxer, and of course legendary Bisu. That's like like literally my sister has a crush on Bisu. So that's how deep our fandom went into.
I can imagine the whole family is like very into something. Like if you like something, you love it.
Yeah. I mean, it's part of like how I think like I carry myself is that whenever I find something that interests me a lot, like I always want to delve really deep into it. You know, regardless of whether it's like you know, when it came to esports, when I was really like deep into commentary for Dota, I was like that's all I've been doing. You know, just play Dota and try to learn as much as I can about the game. When it came to yo-yos, you know, I learned not just about how to play the yo-yo. I learned like the history behind it. I learned like what's the community, how they established themselves. You know, from the 2000s, like the not even 2000s, before the 2000s and up until now. When it came to like guitar, when it came to music, you know, I studied like the histories behind different genres of music, and like especially like with my latest like interest now, which is skateboarding. Like I learned a lot about the history of skateboards when starting from the early '60s all the way up until like modern day. So whenever there's something like I love genuinely, it's like I just want to know everything about it.
You
right?
want to jump into the rabbit hole.
I literally jump in rabbit holes all the damn time, you know.
Head first, like,
There's not enough holes now to accommodate him. You know, it's just a lot.
oh, you were saying about me.
I mean,
You were saying about my jokes.
him. I'm trying. Okay, but before we get on to some of the deeper stories of all these precious items that you have here,
Yeah.
let's start off with the origin story about yourself.
Oh, okay. So I mean, like I said, it's something that I have to kind of like take my time a bit to talk about, because like I've literally never really talked about this with like even some of my closest friends, like how I started off and you know how I ended up here in the first place. Like, you know, so first things first, like I was born in 1990. I was born in
1990. It's a bit older than us. Just a touch.
No, he's younger than me.
yeah, definitely younger than
Older than you.
Older than you. So I'm in the middle. Okay.
right?
You're in the middle.
Yeah, exactly where you are.
Right now.
Yeah, no. So I was born in 1990, like October of 1990, and like I was born in Kuala Lumpur.
Oh,
but
okay.
you say that, but both of my parents actually came from Kuching, Sarawak.
Oh, whoa.
So, and in fact, like the reason why I ended up born in Kuala Lumpur was because my mother, who worked as a government school teacher, she got transferred from East Malaysia to West Malaysia. So it was while my parents were in Kuala Lumpur that I was born.
So you were born here, like
Yeah,
in KL.
like I was born literally in Hospital Kuala Lumpur.
Oh,
right.
HKL betul.
Yeah,
Wow.
betul-betul.
That's like the common name of everyone in KL was born there.
Yeah.
Except me.
Yeah.
But
That's how many hospital do you have before this? I don't think they have much.
Yeah, I guess so.
But the thing was that because both of my parents were Sarawakian, right? Like they don't speak Cantonese. Like
Oh.
they only lived in like West Malaysia for maybe about a year or two before I was born. So like
So they are not originally
yeah,
from.
yeah, they're not originally from. I mean, they're literally born and raised in Kuching, Sarawak.
Right.
But they transplanted themselves into West Malaysia. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because government, they usually send people outstation. So what I'm guessing is she need to teach here and suddenly give birth here. Yeah, and
Suddenly.
I
Suddenly.
don't know.
It was.
I mean, hey, you know what?
It was
Hey.
definitely a bit more of a process than that, that's for sure.
The suddenly is not sudden.
Yeah.
9 months.
But why I bring this up though is because like culturally speaking, both my parents are very Sarawakian. So growing up here in Kuala Lumpur was kind of hard because again, like not only do they not speak Cantonese, right, which is literally a lingua franca of like all the Chinese over here in West Malaysia, but like they didn't have many they didn't really have roots in here, you know. Like they probably had like the friends they had here were also people they knew back when they were in East Malaysia. And growing up as well, like I found it really hard to connect with other Chinese people like around my area because we don't know how to speak. I didn't know how to speak Chinese back then, you know. So, as a result, like a lot of my friends growing up were like, funny enough, or other Indian kids who lived in the neighborhood because they were the only people, only kids around me at the time who also spoke English. Also watched the same shows that I did, you know. So you can imagine, and on top of that, right? Every school holiday, like I would be away in East Malaysia. So imagine like every year during school holidays, a time when you hang out with your schoolmates, your friends. I'm literally in the whole other part of the country. So it was quite hard, for me to actually build like very strong, deep connections here because, it's like the only time I get to see my KL friends were when I'm at school. And when I'm in East Malaysia, like, I'm only there for like a month or two. So the only people I get to see are just only my relatives. So, and at the same time, it kind of created a bit of an identity crisis within myself because like, I always ask like, am I a Sawarkian or am I a K-alien?
That's what I was about to ask, right? Like, how would you identify yourself?
I think like I've accepted that I'm basically Malaysian. You know, like I grew up in Kepong, so I have the experiences of someone who has grown up their whole lives in KL. But in terms of like the kind of like things that resonate with me a lot is it was until like I went back to Kuching to do my college studies when I actually spent a significant amount of time in East Malaysia, and I realized that actually like because I've grew up in a family of East Malaysians, like the stuff that resonated with me a lot more was East Malaysian culture, really. So, but I think like at this stage, I think majority of my life I've spent is in West Malaysia. So for all intents and purposes, I should be considered West Malaysian. But on my IC, it still says that I'm a Sarawak citizen.
So you have like the H, right?
The K.
The K.
Yeah, the K at the corner.
Okay. Well, that's an advantage because it gives you rights, certain rights.
It gives me benefits. Like it gives me benefits in that like there's like some stuff that I can apply for as a Sarawakian citizenship. It gives you access to the Yayasan Fund that's in Sarawak, that's only open to Sarawakians. But it also creates a bit of awkward situations sometimes because, like, for example, like our JPJ, Sarawak has its own jurisdiction. So last time when I had a summons, I literally had to fly all the way to East Malaysia first to settle that summons, and then only was I able to renew my driver's license.
Wait,
you can't settle it here?
You can't settle it online?
No, you can't. You have to literally show up in the court in East Malaysia to do
No
that.
online option even?
Well, the one that I know, like in here, if we get someone, is phone someone. If you're playing with your phone while driving, you need to go to the court. You cannot go and settle online. But for everything,
like, was that what offense was that? Like speeding?
I think it was like a parking offense actually.
oh my god, just parking offense.
Yeah, it's just parking. Like, if it's here, you just I just pay the fine online. Okay, I'm good.
Usually I just pay
because
now.
of that, I couldn't renew my driver's license. I had to settle that summons in the East Malaysian court first, and then only I could actually get my driver's license.
Yeah,
like renewed.
because they have a different set of
Jurisdiction
laws. So whatever summon there is to court.
Yeah.
Even small one.
Oh, even like just parking.
I mean, you have to just do the process of like settling the summonses.
Yeah.
So it's like literally through their own system there.
I'm imagining like a bank. Like if you want to make a new card, you need to go to the bank.
Yeah.
You need the fingerprint thingy.
Yeah.
All 7 or 25. I can't remember. There's a lot. There's a lot of fingerprint. They keep asking.
Where do you find the other 5 fingerprints?
It's just your thumb. It's like, okay, here. Here's the black one. Here's the
okay.
digital one. I'm like, come on. I just make a new card. So that's why I remember. So it's that kind of situation where you need to be there.
You know the moral of the story then is?
But like
Don't screw up driving in Sarawak or Sabah, maybe.
True.
Yeah, that's the moral of the story. Just don't.
If you're there, just be the what is it? The 2 and 10 hand.
Just order e-hailing.
Wow.
Yeah, settle. Right, then you don't need to worry about all that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you always felt that you were somewhere in between.
Somewhere in between, or rather, like I didn't really know where I fit in technically, because again, like when I talk about like the kind of people that I connected with and the friends I had, I always felt kind of like an outsider at times because like the things that my friends, my classmates were into, like I wasn't into. You know, like we don't watch the same shows. You know, they if they're into J Chow, I'm into Slipknot. You know, so that kind of like.
Something feel like it's like a imposter syndrome a bit. It's like you are here but you're not here.
I wouldn't use the word imposter syndrome. I think it's just more of like the outsider syndrome, maybe.
Outsider syndrome.
But you grew up in the city though, so like, how are there not other people who like Slipknot?
Well, that's the thing. Like the ones who do like Slipknot, like there's only like one guy I knew.
And that's
Right.
you. That's one.
No.
Look into the mirror.
one guy other than me, to be fair. But yeah, but basically, yeah, it's like I always found like the kind of interests that I had was not really that like shared by most other people. So that kind of made me a bit isolated at times, and I think that also made me like become even more into the things I was already into. You know, so it like in the sense of like. Going down that rabbit hole, it just made me go deeper and deeper into that because you know I didn't really have anything else to connect to, and it just drove me to want to do more, to delve more into my interests.
Right, and I guess those were like your very very early young days. And when did you start to have that realization of like, okay, I got to break out of this?
Oh, that's to be honest, it's a lifelong thing.
Okay,
because
still
like
feeling it?
It's still here.
so it's like to kind of like fast forward a little bit, you know, it's like it was only the time when I made the decision that I wanted to quit my college studies and pursue my career in esports that I actually decided to forge my own path, essentially. So, but it took me like literally growing up all the way up to college to finally make that kind of realization, you know. So you can imagine it was a very long process for me.
Right. And how about your surrounding, like your parents or whoever?
So
like, how do they somehow support you?
So the thing is like so my parents, like my dad and my mom, they both they have an age gap of like 9 years. So
that's
like
quite
when my dad had me, I think he was like 32 or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So
That's okay.
I mean, not to make you feel like old, but yeah.
That's me right now.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I got my kid around 30.
But like the thing is like my I guess like compared to like other parents, my friends and stuff,
I
like
don't want to say normal people. Just the average people.
I mean, the thing is like my dad very much was like a child of like the 60s and 70s, you know, so very old school, very old fashioned. My mom, she like between my mom and my dad, like my mom is actually the one who had more education. Like she actually went to university, whereas my dad did not. And in fact, it was my dad who actually supported her through university. So essentially, how my home life is that I was raised basically by my dad, whereas my mom was the one who goes out and does brings home the bread.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It feels okay. No, that's
Wait.
not me.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, so literally my dad is a house husband. Like he's the one who stays home and takes care of the kids.
What's the chemistry then with your? Is it like you're more closer to your dad because you're with him a lot, or?
I mean, certainly like growing up, like my dad, like I'm always around my dad all the time. Yeah, for sure. We're talking about closeness, like honestly, it was quite tough for me growing up because obviously being the firstborn son of my family like gave me it puts a lot of expectations, right? Like from my parents and stuff. So essentially like I was the one who had to perform, had to like deliver, you know, had to be the one to show for it, you know, but at the same time, it's like whenever I had failures on my end, right, like not getting good grades at school, like they always come down extra hard on me when it comes to that, you know. So
sounds like a typical Asian family, you know.
very much so.
Still Asian.
It's like, oh, you got an A. Why do you not get an A plus?
Yeah, and plus when you are a guy and you are the sulong, so
Okay.
anak sulong, the expectation is like quadruple what you always have as the
Yeah,
bongsu.
No, I mean,
in the middle.
I'm not the only child actually. Like I have a sister as well. So
But it's not the first child. So
Not the
that's
first child, yeah.
That's the difference.
Fair enough.
You know the meme where anak sulong, you did something so small but you get slapped in the face when the second or the third did the same thing. Like it's fine.
Oh, one of those
Almost the same. One of those
situations.
situations.
So the thing was that for a lot of things when it came to raising me, it kind of like it was kind of like I was the experiment in a way. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
you get the idea, right?
Yeah,
So
I get it.
so that culminated into when they sent me to primary school. So like I mentioned, I don't know how to speak. They didn't know how to speak Chinese at the time. Didn't know how to speak Cantonese. They sent me to a Chinese school.
Oh, God.
Wait.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Okay. I mean, probably with the intention of
Yeah.
hoping that you pick it up.
Yeah, definitely with that kind of intention. But what actually happened to me as a result was that I was kind of pegged as being slow as a learner.
Okay.
Right.
Because like literally my teacher had to like translate every single word to me, right, from Chinese to English so that I could understand and follow along with lessons. But as a result, like I was placed into like literally the last class, in the school, together with the delinquents, together with the people who are not doing well academically.
Yeah.
So in a sense, like that also, and that was also incredibly isolating for me. If you can imagine, like I didn't speak Chinese, and I was literally put into a class full of Chinese speaking people. So I literally didn't, like the only reason why my classmates would come to me is when they need help with their English homework.
Right. But it's the opposite.
Yeah,
But do you end up picking up Chinese?
of course, yeah. Like 我现在会讲华语了，只是我讲华语的时候有一点点的accent.
Oh, okay. He
Yeah.
says that
Yes,
he end
I
up picking
understand.
up. Okay.
No, I don't understand. That was a joke. I don't understand.
It's legit.
I thought that, wow, you picked up a new language during Raya.
But it legitimately trips people up sometimes because like most people know me like from speaking English with me all the time.
Yeah.
And the moment I code switch and I start speaking Chinese, it just makes it weird.
It's the best part when you know how to speak Chinese and you always present yourself as speaking English. You just stay quiet, don't tell anyone. So if anyone talks back to you in Chinese, in your heart you're like, I got you, bitch.
Yeah. That's the best part. That's the best part. We know some people in our circle that has that
Now
secret
including
trait.
you.
Yeah.
Not a secret anymore, sadly.
Yeah,
But do you have you ever always realized that when you speak in Chinese, like it's accented Chinese?
that's the thing. I didn't know until like I finished primary school. When
Someone pointed out to you.
Yeah, then only someone pointed out is like, why do you speak Chinese so weird?
Right. Because you know what? Why I asked that, because I have that same problem as well.
Oh, really?
I don't know if you want to call it a problem. It's just what it is, right?
Yeah.
It's just a style. It's not really a problem.
Yeah. So, like we won't notice ourselves. We thought like, oh, this is just how
Yeah,
it
it's
sounds,
just- it's
right?
how it sounds, right? Yeah.
Until like one of my relatives,
Yeah.
like I think because it was a long time, right? So I think it was a conversation between my relatives and probably my mom or something like that. And then they were like, "Hey, why does your son speak Chinese like weird?" Like,
Is there an example? It's not let's not say what's the weird part. It's like, your accent is like.
yeah, it's not like weird, but
Yeah.
it comes with it doesn't sound like a Chinese.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I get how you feel. Like you don't know it yourself, but if one day someone came up to you, that sounds different. Yeah. You're like,
No, in fact, like because of like my accent when I speak English as well, because I grew up watching Sesame Street and later on grew up watching Monty Python, so I have like a very westernized accent at times, and even other adults around the neighborhood would ask like, "Oh, did you grow up in Europe or something?" They literally think that I like have come from like a international background when the reality is like I grew up my whole life in Kepong Baru. So it's like I don't know. It's I guess it's strange, but at the same time, I guess it does make me a bit unique in that sense.
Yeah, you have your own personality. Let's say.
Yeah,
Where people hear you, they know who you are.
yeah.
right. If it was me, so obviously we've cast it together before.
Yeah.
So for me, knowing you, working with you, so on and so forth, I felt that your accent is neutral enough that it's transferable to if you go to any cultures and they listen to it, they immediately be able to pick up what you say.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like, it's such a heavy X accent and it's so difficult to listen. So, yeah, I think it's clean. It feels natural.
It feels natural.
Yeah, well, I only been speaking it for 35 years, so
there you go.
Yeah.
Well, don't worry. Some people did speak English for a long time and still can't really say as clearly as how you say this. Yeah, my friend from America, of course, speak English the whole life.
Okay,
but they have the Texas accent.
Oh,
Southern
heavy
drawl.
Texas accent.
Heavy Texas
That,
accent.
howdy, cowboy.
Not that
I
bad,
know.
but still, it's like when you hear him, that's not English. When you talk to him, it's like he's speaking American English, not English.
Oh,
it's like when you have conversations with him, do you have to need to turn on the subtitles sometimes?
Mostly, I would say to him slower. Say slower. Don't go too fast, or I need translation, please.
but did you go all the way like primary school to secondary school doing in Chinese?
So no, by the time I went to secondary school, they sent me to a government school, an SMK.
Right.
So
I like how Chinese schools are not government schools, but
well, yeah.
Wait, isn't it not?
wait,
I always thought.
bro, SJKC is
Yeah.
government.
Oh,
Technically, it is.
Yeah.
yeah. Don't worry, I'm sending my child to a Chinese government school as well.
Oh, so now you're getting tips from Victor.
Yeah, that's a he's not
survival
speaking
tips
Chinese.
from Victor.
I want my kid to speak in Malay, English, Arab, and Chinese.
Oh man,
Good luck, my kid.
that's a lot of pressure. Not gonna lie.
I wish I could save you.
Oh, I see.
We have the generation trauma. Let's go.
Transfer it down. Okay, so you had to make that shift into Sekolah Kebangsaan, I guess.
Yeah, Sekolah Kebangsaan.
Was that like also a shock to you?
Yeah, actually, to be honest, I felt more at home
Oh,
because for one, like I said, when I went to the Chinese school, virtually everyone there was Chinese, right? Like I think in my class I only had like one kid from Pakistan and one Malay kid, and that was it. That was the only like diversity we had in that school.
Oh, wow.
So by the time I got to like SMK, like not only were there like more Indian and Malay kids, to hang out with, but some of them were also from my neighborhood, like people I already knew. So it definitely helped a lot in that transition for sure.
Right. Okay. So it was pretty much more smooth when
Yeah.
you made the transition.
Yeah. So I think like for the first 3 years in secondary school, like I still kept Chinese as a subject, but by the time I reached Form 3, I decided to drop like the subject completely. Yeah. So even now, like I can still read, I can still speak Chinese and stuff, but it's like I still feel more comfortable like speaking in English. So that's why like especially as a commentator, like if they wanted me to cast in Chinese or even in BM, like I could, but it's like I'm just more comfortable using English generally.
It's not going to be as flowy.
Right.
as
But
English.
it's really good for business.
Exactly.
Yeah, especially with now we know that China has also a lot of I would say investments around the world as well that might intertwine with what we do.
No, but,
So it's a good advantage.
but more than that, like I think it makes it easier to make friends with people that way. Like especially when I speak to Malay friends, I always rather speak in Bahasa with them because it just feels more intimate that way, right?
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
it makes it easier to connect.
Yeah.
When you're speaking the same language. So, but then like if I try to do the same thing with like English, it immediately marks me as kind of an outsider, doesn't it?
It doesn't
Yeah.
technically, personally, it doesn't feel like that.
I mean, I guess it depends on if you speak to a Malay friend, like if he's English background, like he speaks English regularly, then it just naturally flows, right? So it really depends on who you speak to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But personally, when I talk to you, it always gives me the opportunity to try and better myself.
Yeah.
Because it's rare for someone like me to meet someone that can speak English fluently. Because when I speak to him, usually I speak in Malay. It just feels more comfortable like that.
Is it? I think we quite 50-50.
Well,
kot.
technically, it's like rojak lah.
We're like, I don't know what language to use to you today.
If we have it's like, oh, I wake up today, English lah.
Yeah, that sort of feel.
It's like a flip of the coin. It's like, oh, okay, lands on English today.
You can't do a coin flip. You need a 3-sided die.
Oh, yeah.
D3
D3.
language.
Yeah. Your kid needs 4.
It's small, yeah.
Yeah.
Dice.
Arabic there. Okay, roll. Let's go. Right. So I guess it was a smooth sail in your secondary years.
Well, in a sense, I mean, definitely, like, it was where I first picked up the guitar, actually, when I was in secondary school. So that was where, like I made more friends in that time, and they also had, they had like a music club in that school. So I, like, literally, when I first heard about it, I was like, okay, I got to join this, you know, because, like, I really wanted to learn how to play guitar. Like, my dad knew how to. My dad had a guitar. He tried to teach me a bit, but, like, it didn't really take. It was only until, like, I started, like, going to the music club that, like, I actually started learning how to play guitar with other people. So yeah, that's pretty much how I picked up that first love. Like, the guitar, like,
Why the guitar over anything else?
I think it was more of convenience. Because, like, when you think about other kind of instruments, like a piano, for instance, like, how do you bring a piano to school? Or if you play the drums, like, if your school doesn't have a drum set, like, what are you gonna do? You're just gonna slap chopsticks, I guess. You know,
you line out a few Tupperwares and you.
Whereas like a guitar, like, you can just put it in the bag and just carry it to school. You know, so it's a lot more convenient.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, it was right around that time was when I started really getting into rock music. Like, thanks to my friends in the neighborhood, like, they introduced me to Linkin Park. So I started listening heavily to Linkin Park because, like, growing up, I normally listened to what my dad listened to, which was music from, like, the 70s, and it was mostly disco. So, like, stuff like Bee Gees.
Or like ABBA.
ABBA is one. But then also, like, basically like the golden oldies, so we call it, you know, the evergreen trees kind of songs, you know. So that was, like, the music I grew up with. But the moment my friend brought, like, a Linkin Park album and we played it on, like, my, like, radio for the first time, like,
cassette player, I guess.
I think it was a CD player, actually, by then.
Okay. Speed up.
Hybrid theory.
A little bit.
Was it hybrid theory?
Oh yeah, what
I
album
think
is it?
I think it was Meteora.
Meteora.
Yeah.
So it's
Meteora.
the
Yeah.
second, third album.
Technically a third album, yeah.
Second was
Second one was the Reanimation.
Reanimation, yeah.
Okay.
So, like, listened to Meteora, like, freaking loved it, and was just basically, like, every day before going to school, like, I would just put that CD on and just, like, listen to the whole album, like, one way through.
Right.
And and because of that, like, that also drove me to want to learn guitar because, you know, I wanted to play the songs, you know, on the album. So that was where I learned. That's where I learned that, Linkin Park doesn't use, like, a normal tuning. They use, like, a drop D, but not only drop D, but it's, like, drop down a half step. So it's like it starts from C sharp, then G sharp. So I learned that this is where I learned that, there's actually so much more you can do with a guitar, not just, like, it started to change, like, my view of, like, how it's supposed to work, you know? And it really helped open my mind that there's actually so much more possibilities, you know, rather than, like, just looking at guitar as just an instrument that makes sounds. Like, there's so much variation to that, actually. There's so much deeper things you can do with it. So from Linkin Park, like, I started delving into sort of my own version of, like, the School of Rock, let's put it that way. So, like,
So you're the Jack Black.
So I started going back, like, I started looking at, like, you know, what were the influences that Linkin Park had, you know, who are the other bands around them at this time. So that's where I learned about bands like Korn, where I learned about the new metal scene in general, Limp Bizkit, you know, all those guys. But then also went even back further and looked like, okay, this Metallica, you know, there's Megadeth. These guys are doing even more epic guitar riffs, you know. And then I look even further back, I was like, who influenced these guys? And they're like, there's a band called Iron Maiden that started a new wave of British heavy metal. And then that's where I learned about Judas Priest as well as Dio. And even further back, then that's where I ended up with Black Sabbath, like the originator of the whole genre in the first place. So literally, you know, it's kind of like how I started going down rabbit holes, right?
Yeah, this is it.
Yeah, so this is literally my process of going down a rabbit hole when it came to music. So, and that eventually, like, after going through that school of rock, then I'm like, okay, now I want to go and look at what's the newer thing, or rather, like, you think like bands like Linkin Park, Metallica, pretty heavy, right?
Yeah.
So I was thinking like, what's even heavier than that?
Slipknot.
Slipknot?
Slipknot, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, Slipknot is one.
I guess
But-
Ghost. But Ghost is not really guitar heavy.
I mean, I think they're pretty heavy on lyrics.
Yeah, they're more lyrics than.
Yeah, but the feel, the vibe is definitely
it's
like
different.
just sublime. I freaking love Ghost actually.
Same. You're a Ghost fan here.
Ghost, but that's where I discovered death metal. So
that's money.
when the first like death metal song I heard, I'm like, okay, this is like not only more epic guitar riffs, but they're faster and they growl so low and deep. And was like, that's a completely like for a 13-year-old me, that blew my mind. Like, that you can do that kind of songs, right? And that's where I discovered this band, Death. So Death, if you do not know, they're basically the namesake of death metal, right? So they're the ones who in a way invented the genre in the first
So
place.
that's why the name is death metal, because of them.
Partially, yeah. Partially. But by the time I discovered that death was a thing, was when I realized, when I also found out that the founder and basically the lead guy for Death had already passed away.
Oh.
So you can imagine, like, it's like I was like starting from being a fan of Linkin Park, going down this journey and like becoming a fan of this new, really like heavy type of music, and discovering like Death as an artist, and then realizing that going like, man, I cannot wait for the next album to come out because it's gonna be sick. And then finding out he died of cancer in 2004.
Oh no!
Just as when you were about to get there.
Yeah,
It's,
but
it's like the Linkin Park where people just, I love Linkin Park and Chester.
yeah,
But it was, oh no!
yeah.
But when you picked it up, musical instruments and all this love for music, have you ever imagined yourself like one day I want to be in a band or do something
So
like that?
that's what I ended up doing actually, because
Oh, really?
Wait, what?
Do you have a band?
I had a band.
Okay.
Oh no!
Yeah,
All
but,
right.
I mean,
let's go.
Well, I mean, we're basically like skipping forward like basically several years now. But when I was in college, I joined up with a group of guys who were also they were heavily into Iron Maiden. So we basically went to a jamming studio and just covered Iron Maiden songs all the time.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So I did guitars and I did vocals for that. So I learned all the lyrics and how to sing like Bruce Dickinson, that kind of thing.
I can sing as well.
Can we get a teaser? Or we're going to leave that to the end?
I think it's
Let's leave that to the end. Okay.
Oh, we want to
All
move
right.
this one where we set up back the camera a bit just for.
Yeah,
the song.
just for him.
yeah.
Just for the song.
Yeah. Okay, we'll leave that
How
at the
do
end.
I play? Is there an aux out on this?
No, it's a complete acoustic guitar,
Oh,
unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like how like our 2 episodes that we record after Raya, both of them
Audio based.
audio-based music related.
Music related.
In fact, after recording with you, we're going to record with a music composer
Oh,
who composed for Siti Noaliza,
Oh,
Michelle Ma,
damn.
Jacqueline Victor, these kind of people, and has won Anugerah Industry Music before.
Oh,
and he has
damn.
that trophy. of-
Is he going to bring the trophy?
I have no idea.
Please
I,
bring the
I
trophy.
told him, bring something and then, let's see
It
what
could
shows
be
up.
in the studio, so he can't really bring it easily here.
I mean,
I'm
his
just
studio is
coping.
just-
just coping right now.
The studio is just next to his house. So
Oh, come
there's
on,
a
you don't bring me
potential
down.
that he might bring it. So we need to wait.
It's going to be like in like a few hours. But let me, before that, I want to revert back a bit.
Yeah.
Would you say about the guitar, your little guitar before this? What's the first song?
The first was probably just the 4 chords, basically. The E minor, C, then G,
But
then
what's,
D.
what's the complete song, the first complete song that you learned?
I think it was Boulevard of Broken Dreams.
Oh, God.
And I learned that song because my class wanted to perform that song.
That's a kind of hard.
Not really. Not really.
Maybe I'm not good at guitar, so that's why I feel like, oh god, that sounds.
I learned a bit of guitar before.
Oh.
Yeah, so I know like the 4 basic chords that you would learn first.
Yep.
Yeah, I still remember them, but you know, mechanically it's been a while. And with those 4 chords, you can actually do a good amount of songs already. So my first song was Hoobastank, The Reason.
Oh, classic.
Yeah.
Until the end of the song.
Yeah, it's a lot of repeats, but it works.
But that's the thing, like even Boulevard of Broken Dreams, it's literally those 4 chords. You just repeat it over and over again, but then you change it up a little bit when it comes to chorus, so it's not that hard actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I learned guitar when I was in high school. Because we have no entertainment. This is the only entertainment we have.
Right. And it's like I agree with what you say, right? Like guitar, out of all the musical instruments, it's arguably one of the easier ones.
Yeah, one of the convenient ones for sure. Yeah.
Of course, you can still like record it and all that, but it's not cool, right?
Who
Not as cool.
Who goes to a metal band in a mosh pit and record it comes out? It's like, oh, let's go.
Hey, you never know.
Have you ever seen an Elevatis show? Like they not only bring out like an accordion, they also bring out a hurdy-gurdy, violins and nose flutes.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
There
works.
you go.
Well, okay. Anything works, I guess.
Anything works in the world of music. You know.
I listen to clowncore, so a horn is enough. If you know clowncore.
Clowncore.
Yeah. They play in the toilet. Not wrong.
No, yeah, literally.
A whole album was playing in the porta potty, like the portable toilet. That was their whole album.
So what? The audio sounds like it's in the toilet.
So it's
worse than that.
Okay.
No, it's like electronic drum, a keyboard, and a saxophone. That's what they use.
And the clown horn.
And the clown horn. Okay, I mean,
it's clowncore.
I mean, if it works for them. But has it worked out in the way that you might have imagined it? Like, okay, you had a band, you jammed together, but have you guys performed outside?
So, I mean, like I said, I think I should actually preface with one thing first. Like, one thing about me is that I actually have like anxiety issues. So, in particular, like I have like stage fright, basically. So whenever like there was I need to present in front of a class, like it's really difficult for me, and especially when it comes to like doing a performance in front of like the whole school or the entire audience, it's like it terrifies me, honestly. You know, so I remember like the first time I had to do like some sort of presentation during like the start of the school day. Like I remember like going up with the microphone and like completely freezing up, like having like completely not like forgot my lines or what, but just not able to start talking. And like my leg, like the whole time was just shaking, like quaking, like I just like everything in my mind was just about wanting to run away from that, you know. So for me, like doing performing and doing live stuff like this, it was something that I had to learn how to overcome before I could actually do it, you know. So doing it, like learning how to play the guitar and doing a performance for the first time, like it was that process that helped me learn how to be a bit more confident, you know, in front of people, how to like in a funny way, like even to this day, I still have that kind of anxiety, but the only thing that's different from like when I was younger was that I learned how to overcome it. Like I've learned how to commit myself to putting myself there, like in front of a microphone, in front of the camera, and just let it flow, you know. And to do that, like it was from a process of like becoming more and more confident on playing my guitar and more confident in what showing my ability, you know. And it was just it literally was part of that process, you know, of me coming out of my shell in that sense. Because prior to this, like I was always, you know, very quiet. Like I'm usually the shyest person, you know. I don't usually I'm not like a in any kind of party situation, I usually try to stay on the sidelines. You know,
The introvert.
yeah, very, very much so. So, but the magical thing for me was that, you know, the moments that I'm like performing, right, like on the microphone with guitar in hand, it just feels like the most natural thing. You know, it's like from that point on, it's no longer about, you know, being nervous about, oh, am I playing this right? You know, did I make a mistake here? But it was just more of like, I just need to flow, just let it flow out, let it flow, and that helped a lot. Like learning how to perform in front of people, like it gradually helped me get out of that anxiety.
And once you did your first strum, then it's like it just goes all the way.
It's
Is
like
that how it feels?
it's like it's kind of like that, in that, you know, you just have to plunge headfirst into it, right? It's like the moment you get, like when you're just standing, like if you're standing at the edge of a cliff wanting to jump into the water, right? It's like just getting yourself over that. It's often feels like the hardest thing to do, but once you've already gotten past that, you just flow into it. You know, it comes so much easier from that point on.
Yeah.
Did that? How long did that take for you to really get that sort of confidence and rhythm?
I think it was by the time like I had to do like a performance during like an ACG event. So remember I said I had a band in secondary school. So like they were Iron Maiden fans, but they were also fans of anime. So they decided,
J-Rock, let's go.
So they decided to form an ACG band with the existing like jam band members.
So you had to like cosplay when you perform?
I didn't do much cosplay.
I don't think they just do covers lah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So I
Anime
mean,
cover.
we covered K-On, Don't Say Lazy.
Oh my god, that's such a
Yeah, that's a deep cut for you, right?
fuck, I feel old.
Yeah, that'll make you feel old and more. Black Rock Shooter.
Yep.
Akane no Hero. So
Wow,
yeah,
that's
all those
fast song.
yeah, like
Okay, Black Rock Shooter is not that fast,
but again,
K-On is fast.
but bear in mind, like we were covering Iron Maiden songs, so for us,
it doesn't feel that fast.
it's cool. It's not that bad.
Black Rock Shooter.
So can we get a request of Black Rock Sugar
Black
at the
Rock
very
Shooter,
end?
I rather listen to Don't Say Lazy because that one is a bit more faster.
Fair enough.
Okay. Don't say lazy at the end of this podcast.
Yeah. Do you need to get naked like the OP of the video?
No.
What?
Oh, that's just the anime. The OP is like she's
Okay.
naked.
Yeah. It was like when we prepared so much to get to that point. Like every day, not every day, but basically every week when we go for our jamming sessions, like we're just rehearsing all that performance. And
Do they still play, or do they still do cover, or they just go separate ways?
I think we went our separate ways after
Because
I finished college.
if you go back, if you rejoin and do another anime cover, the Bochi the Rock album is out. You know, that's the new generation of K-On.
Hey, they could be like full-time ACG performers, you know?
Yeah,
Right.
Like some of our friends that's already go to Japan and do all of that stuff.
Yeah.
But funny thing, like for me, when I was in that ACG band, like you know, like Detroit Metal City.
Huh?
Yeah, you know the setup for that, right? Like it's a guy who all he wants to do is to play sappy love songs and pop songs, but but then he is successful as a black metal musician. Like he's just like he's just screaming bloody death like on stage every single night. But then in reality, like he just wants to be a pop star. But I had kind of like
Gun Kelly style as well.
but I kind of had the opposite of that, right? Because I'm a death metal guy. I love Iron Maiden. I love Metallica. I love Linkin Park. I love metal, right?
Yeah.
But then now I'm basically covering like K-On.
I'm there with flowers. It's the opposite.
Yeah.
You're almost like who's the singer for Falling
Falling in Reverse?
Falling in Reverse?
I don't remember.
I can't remember the because he loved metal, but the reason why now he's going to R&B a bit more because people love his rapping style. So he's like, I want to do metal. What do you want me to sing? rap style.
That's a funny thing. That's how it sometimes happens in, like in the music industry, right? Like sometimes like what you become known for in the industry is not necessarily what you want to do.
Yeah, it's the same as doing YouTube. You say I don't want to play Minecraft anymore, but people want. I get the most views on Minecraft. So I play Minecraft.
Yeah.
Do you have the? I don't think you can say like you don't want to cast.
No, I would say that if like what we see in the gaming streaming world, right? I've been playing the same game every day on stream. I want to play something else, but if I play something else, people don't come and watch. So I have to still play that whatever game is, right? So it's like,
it doesn't matter if it's in music, movies, or esports. That still happens.
Like I can think off the top of my head, like Guns N' Roses, right?
I love Guns N' Roses.
What happened with Guns N' Roses?
No, their one of their most famous songs, "Sweet Child of Mine." So it was literally like the riff for that was when like he was literally doing that riff as kind of like a silly thing, like trying to imitate like circus sounds, and when the whole time like because they were literally in a jam session and he was playing that silly riff as a kind of like it was more it was actually his kind of like his practice, like it's something to warm up his finger. It's kind of like a finger warm up thing. But the whole time he was just trying to like fool around with it, just trying to. He was making funny faces the whole time with his band members, and they're all like laughing about it. But then like freaking Axl Rose was upstairs like writing like trying to think up some song ideas. He heard the riff, was like, "We need to make a song out of this."
Okay, fine.
That's how music is produced sometimes, right? Like, you just do it.
What is it? Is it Harry Potter or? Oh no, it was Ruby. RWBY, the map of the whole universe.
Oh yeah,
was a coffee stain. He put a there was a tissue, and then the waiter put down the coffee, and it tertumpah sikit, and he opened up the tissue, and that's the map of RWBY in the anime.
Yeah, he just traced it out.
And that's the world.
Right. Okay. But what made you guys stop doing music then? I mean, you've been performing out there and all that.
Seems happy.
Well,
Seems.
Not to get too dramatic, but basically it fell apart when two of the members got into a relationship, and one of them were underage.
Oh!
So yeah.
People!
So that you can imagine things did not
I
end
see
well.
a season in front of us, and that's why you cut ties with them. Usually people do that when they are successful.
Yeah.
And is that what happens if you go to ACG events?
No.
I mean,
no.
I don't know.
Only stupid people does that,
Okay.
You know the weird part about like all the anime and all this stuff. Sometimes the reality is much more weird than the story or the anime that we watch. Including that. There's no way there's a movie or an anime that does that kind of storyline. But in real life, here we go.
Yeah. But why didn't you not replace like those members and you continue on?
I think by that point, like it was already a moment in my life where things were kind of like changing quite rapidly. So I mean, to preface this, like this was when I was in college, right? And right around that time, like I was struggling a lot actually doing my college studies. So what was supposed to be like a 4-year course, like ended up me having to restart from not from zero. Technically, I still was able to carry forward some of my subjects. But essentially, I had to restart because 4 years was the maximum training time if I wanted to become an engineer.
Sorry, what were you studying again?
I was studying mechatronics engineering.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so...
It's rocket science.
No, robotic science.
Oh, close enough.
No, it's not.
Yeah. But like, I was particularly struggling really hard with the math part of things. Which is super
Asian. What?
Which not only that's another layer to that because my mom is a maths major.
Oh God.
Oh, that's not helping.
No. That means the only counter you say my mom took all the math knowledge.
Oh,
so when it comes to me, it's none anymore.
Yep, it went upstairs, people. Sorry, guys.
Pops out all the math left behind.
Yeah, I forgot to bring that together with me.
Yeah. So, but it also like I decided. So I was initially studying to be studying mechatronics engineering, but when I had to restart, I decided to take a different course, and that's when I went into IT instead. And particularly, I decided to major in games design.
Oh,
Don't you need to do math in that course as well?
So not as much math compared to mechatronics, because mechatronics you had to learn a bit of like electronics engineering. You had to learn quite a bit of math in that regard, especially with signal processing and stuff.
oh, that's not 1+2 kind of math. I
Yeah,
think that's more like
that's-
Ohm's
it's-
law, all that kind of.
It's math where you have to use like graphs
Yeah, that's
and
it.
stuff. And it's super complicated, and unfortunately, I never got through it. So,
How long do you spend doing that?
in university,
The mechatronics.
4 years. Like
4 years, and then you decided to U-turn back.
I had to because 4 years is the maximum period for training. It's like beyond that, you cannot be accredited as an engineer.
Oh,
So that's
gonna be a
why-
waste. So
yeah.
better just.
So that's why I had to restart basically.
Do you
So
feel like that was a waste? 4 years?
it was. I mean, honestly, yeah, it definitely. It was like it's a waste in terms of like the academic side of things, but those 4 years were also like when I was building those memories, right? Like performing with my ACG band, making new friends, people from different countries like Sri Lanka, Saudi Arabia, etc. People I've never met in real life, and was basically in this university environment, like finding and learning about all these different people, different cultures. So in a sense, it was like the best of times, but also the worst of times.
Best in one sense, not the best in the other sense.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Right. So how was the U-turn for you then?
How long will it take for it? Another 4 years or
basically, it would have been like another
just
another 4
reset from
years.
zero then?
Basically,
So 8 years stuck in college.
Yeah.
uni.
didn't end up finishing that because like
After 8 years?
Is it 8 years?
Oh yeah, is it 8 years?
no,
total?
I ended up leaving in the 7th year actually,
Almost there.
almost there, but
What happened?
So when I decided to do like IT and game design, I decided that at the same time, might as well I try to get some job experience that's relevant to that kind of field. So that's when I applied and I took up a part-time job at a cyber cafe in Kuching, Sarawak. So where I went to was this place called Gizmo Arena.
Oh,
And
I know the place.
You know the place,
Yeah,
yeah.
They used to hold a lot of Dota tournaments
Yeah.
before.
Oh.
I'm not sure if they're still operational now.
Now they've already closed down the place, unfortunately.
Oh,
right.
okay.
But they still had. Well, at least last time I was there, they still had like a shop where they were still kind of operating a cyber cafe, but it was literally a shadow of what it used to be because they used to have like the whole food court area on the
that's
top
not
floor.
fun.
So yeah, it was like a really big place. Like it was basically Kuching's version of like Orange
Oh,
Esports.
Orange.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you have like a tournament that you organize in a mall in Kuching, those are the people that you go to get equipment.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, they are that the place to go to.
So, and exactly, it's precisely because of that I got to be exposed to the esports scene, the local esports scene in Kuching, Sarawak.
But why
Because
a cyber cafe of everywhere else though?
I figured it was relevant to what I was studying at the time. Because again, game design, like I needed to learn more about gaming in
Fair
general,
enough.
right? But also like it gave me an opportunity to work with computers. So in actuality, like because when my mother was teaching in KL, like she's a math major, so by rights you would think that she would become a maths teacher, but instead she got assigned to be an IT teacher instead.
Oh,
Oh.
So that meant
that's
that
weird. That's like the
So-
opposite.
but that as a result, growing up, like I grew up with PCs. So like literally the first video game I've played was Commander Keen, which is like a game that you like. It was before Windows.
Sounds familiar, but I forgot what is it like.
It's a think of it as like a PC version of Mario, but you can shoot like a ray gun.
Okay, so it's like
Yeah.
side scroller 2D.
Yeah, side scroller
I have
2D.
no idea what game this is, by the way.
Right.
So I mean, Commander Keen is quite interesting because they were the developers of that game like had to innovate how graphics were being drawn on the screen because back then like the only side scrollers that existed were only on the NES, right? Like only the consoles were able to redraw every frame like fully. But PCs at the time were not able to do that sort of graphics processing. But what John Carmack did was that he developed his game engine such that every frame basically only takes the difference between the two, which means that he doesn't have to redraw the whole frame, only draws the difference between the frames. So that allowed like smooth side scrolling to exist on PC, even on hardware that was not designed for it.
Oh wow!
And this was very significant. Like this was a significant thing because the success of Commander Keen and everything it did eventually led to John Carmack and his company, id Software, to go on to make Castle Wolfenstein and Doom.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, so that was their origin story.
Yeah, that's their origin story. Like they,
right.
and Commander Keen, funny enough, was started as a project to create a clone for Mario on the PC, but Nintendo being Nintendo, they rejected it.
Of course.
Of course.
Of course.
They have the nuke gun from forever ago until now.
But literally, Commander Keen was the first game I've ever played, and it was at a time. This was before like in order for me to play that game, I had to use command line to access the executable. So I had to like type. I had to literally type. Command line being like the CMD.
MS-DOS, CMD.
Yes. So I had to learn how to use the MS-DOS interface just so that I can play my game.
Man, and that was at the CC?
No, this was at home.
Oh yeah, on your own.
Yeah, on my own. So like because I had a home computer and
MS-DOS
yeah.
era.
But that experience, right? Like knowing how to use command line and having a PC growing up meant that I already understood how to work with computers, and that helped me a lot later on when I started working at that cyber cafe. Because one thing they had to do, right, was that they were hosting a lot of Dota 2 tournaments at the time, right?
Yeah.
But one thing they really wanted to do was to be able to host CS:GO tournaments in that cyber cafe. Problem is they didn't know how to do it.
Because CS.
The
Wait,
old
CS2?
No, this was CS:GO.
CS:GO era.
This was by design, yeah.
So it's
You still need the servers and all.
Go still need server, right?
Yeah, you still need
CS2
to.
doesn't need server.
Huh?
Does
Two
CS2
you also need server.
You still need servers.
Oh
Yeah.
wait, even CS2 now?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
But
That's why CS is such a hard game to host.
so
Valve?
Please, do you want your game to be successful or not?
It's been forever.
I don't want my kid that wants to go into esports. Dad, how do you open a server? I'm like, just change game.
That's Valorant.
but that's the thing, right? Like that became the task for me to not only learn how to host a CS server, like how to set up a dedicated server.
Yeah.
But on top of that, how do you set up a map change system if you want to do a best of 3?
I feel like I worked with you and Major before about changing the map.
Yeah.
Seeing them type it up.
But
And I'm like,
so that's where I learned, like because I had that background knowing how to use command line, and at the same time, like from university, like I learned a bit of programming. So what I essentially did there was that I built a batch file. I built a batch file that not only allowed them to select which maps are going to be inside the best of 3, but to also open up the configuration to allow them to modify, to set the team names, to set the player names, and stuff like that. And it was all contained into one batch file, and it would automatically generate all the configurations that's required.
Basically, the batch file is currently API, like how you put in, like there's a text file you put in, and then it like links back all the
batch,
stuff. Is it
batch
that?
files like basically is to do operations on the computer. So like the simplest thing, like let's say you got a whole batch of like files you need to convert. So you use a batch a .bat to set a command in order to do that batch conversion.
Yeah,
So-
.bat will launch the MS-DOS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I created my own batch file specifically to manage that dedicated server. So
I feel like I'm in a maze because I'm lost. I'm not a coding guy, so I have no idea about coding.
but in terms of like coding, it's like it's kind of like a very basic form, but a very old school form of programming. But because I had the experience doing command line, because I had experience, I had learned programming. Not only in secondary school but also in college at the time. Like I had to learn how to do C and C++. So I knew like what I needed to do in order to do that, and on top of that, learn how to set up dedicated servers, like did the research for that, learn what kind of commands need to be passed into the server in order to ensure all the settings were correct, all that thing. And proud to say that like I built this system before I had to leave that company, Gizmo Arena, and after that they hosted like their own CS tournament, and it was a success. And like they messaged me is like, thank you so much for the system you built.
The only thing I know about making a server is me doing a Plex server for my anime thing, and I use a Docker, so it's not really coding.
This is like a whole CS tournament.
This is the whole coding. Mine is a Docker. A Docker is like a window. So it is not even coding.
And reality is like when you understand how the system, what kind of inputs it needs, basically, like you understand that it needs it in this kind of format, it needs this kind of information, blah blah blah. So once you understand that, then it became very easy to code the batch file because you know exactly what you need to pass to the dedicated server for the function. You know,
I agree. It's like if in the modern world, like right now, it's like how people do prompting with AI. Like you just need to kind of know like what are the type of inputs that it will pick up, and then you structure your prompts around it. Then you will get what you want. So it's made. Of course, that's like a very simplified version with the modern AI. But if you were to trace back, that's exactly how it is.
I remember back then when AI first launched, my ex-boss, which is Joe from Sem 9, he
Joe
was
Rogan.
like, Joe Rohan.
Joe Rogan.
It was close.
Joe Rohan, it's almost there. He taught me this is normal now, but before he taught me when nobody was telling me, pre-prompt the AI. Do you know what
train
a
the AI basically, right?
You train the AI first before you ask the question. Say you are a blah 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 blah. Then you pre-prompt before you prompt it to give out all the thing about the coding and everything. And I was like, what is a pre-prompt? Okay, sit down. Talk to you.
There you go.
It's funny, right? Because like you tend to think of AI like how it is in the movies, as in like someone you talk to, right? That will understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
But like when I see what AI is right now, it's like it's not that different from like how programs basically work. It's like you're talking to a machine, you know. So it's like a machine can only understand or interpret certain commands in certain ways. And to me, that like that shows how not far away, you know, current day AI is compared to how programs work. You know, back then in the day, it's just a different form of it, I suppose.
Yeah, I always say to myself, if you can change the word AI with algorithm, that means it's not AI yet. So
algorithm is something else.
But if you say like, Twitter AI now can give you the tweet that you want to see, or then you change the word, this algorithm will show you what is the same thing. That means for me, it's not AI yet.
But at the same time, like I'm of the opinion basically that AI is not really that revolutionary or smart actually. So but it's also that like AI has become this sort of catch-all term that encompasses it becomes something that's so all encompassing and like wide by definition.
General.
Yeah, it's very generalized that it's not really an actual thing in that sense, right? It's like it's not a very specific discipline of programming, for example, right? It's just something that's kind of become a bit of a buzzword in a sense.
Yeah, okay, that's the easiest way to say it is a buzzword.
Yeah, I do agree. Like there's some features out there with products that if you don't put the name AI in, it is still that function, you know? You just put it in just because it's a buzzword.
I mean, like to kind of like bring it back old school, like have you guys ever played around with like chatbots before?
Yeah. Like, what's the genie thing that it can read your mind? You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Get what it's called. Yeah.
I believe so.
Or even things like Ask Jeeves, if you remember.
Ask Jeeves. Ask Jeeves is like the first,
like one of the early search engine AI search engines kind of thing.
Ask Jeeves.
I mean the like gimmick about it is that you're supposed to ask you're supposed to use this search engine like you're asking a butler like to search things for you, but in reality it just works like any other search engine. Yeah, it's just Google but with extra steps.
The way they present is like, here, master.
But then again, like you did so much good work that Gizmo. Why do you leave?
Because I got a job offer.
Oh.
So again, like we're really jumping over the place really with
I
the
know,
story,
right?
but
Welcome to our podcast.
but basically, like at the time, I was struggling in college, and I was trying to, I was really trying to figure out like
Why are you struggling this time?
The way you talk is like a therapist. Tell me why you're struggling.
Yeah.
Why?
Open up.
I mean,
It's because of the beautiful audio, right?
you had to,
I hope.
you had to imagine the stress, or rather, like the kind of situation I was in, where I failed basically to go through my 4-year mechatronics engineering course, and this was basically having to start from zero again. So, in a sense, I had to kind of rebuild myself
Yeah, the pressure.
as a person, and at this, and at the same time, like having delved into esports together with Gizmo Arena, is where I started getting exposed to this completely different world that I didn't know existed at the time, or rather, it wasn't an opportunity that I realized was there for me. Because when Gizmo started, again, they would supply their computers, right, going to Dota tournaments and things like that. So this was where I had this opportunity when they had a Dota 2 tournament in Unimas. And it was basically a college level tournament. Like, it was all the students from Unimas getting together, having their own tournament. And what was really fun about that tournament was that they had commentators there that used Bahasa Sarawak to commentate.
Wow!
Oh wait,
Yeah,
that sounds fun.
Oh yeah, it was
How does it
super
sound
fun.
like kita kame?
Yeah, they were
all
doing
the way.
that
Oh,
all the
that's
way.
so fun.
It's so fun.
All
It was so fun.
right.
So like I literally I only helped out with like setting up the computers, because like by that point in time, like I've upgraded from like working the cashier to doing tech support back end, right? So I was like fixing the computers and like that. So now my boss was like, okay, come with me because I need your help to help set up the PCs for this tournament. So I went and did the setup, and basically I was done from that point. Once the PC is set up and the event can run, like I was no longer needed. But I decided to stay because Bahasa Sarawak commentators, man, like come on.
I don't understand. I want to watch it. I want to listen to it.
So
Feels like home.
yeah.
Oh, for you, it feels like
Yeah. But so that's the thing. Like at the event, that's where they had to take a break. The commentators have been on for like hours at this point, and
Oh, it's like those back in the day,
Yeah,
you run for 12 hours.
There's no breaks.
no breaks.
The in between game is like 5 seconds.
here like kami makan, we need to go have lunch right now. So it was during that time.
I just remember my flashback.
So it was during that time when the commentators needed a break that my boss came over to me and said, "Would you mind filling in for these guys?"
In Bahasa Sarawak?
No, in English.
Okay, in English.
No,
at least.
at least. But, no, it literally like sat me down, put the microphone in my hand. It's like, okay, like try to cast this. Bear in mind, this is like, even though like I was working with Gizmo Arena for maybe about a year or two by that point, but I really did not know Dota. So I grew up back in like Kapong Baru, Segambut. Like the only game I played was CS 1.6.
Oh, so that area have no Dota.
No,
It's a gumboot. Or is that just you?
it was just me.
Okay, just you.
But no. But to be honest, like, because when I started going to cyber cafes, like that was the only game I played. Like everyone was playing that. Like they had like so many people having sessions there all the time for CS. But it was also around the same time that Dota, the original Dota, Warcraft 3 Dota, started coming out, and that's where I started to see the transition, like from an endless scroll of different servers. It just started to dwindle down. It's from 20 servers, it went down to 15. And from 15, it went down to 10. And from 10, it went down to like 3, maybe.
Because everyone started playing Dota.
Because everyone's playing Dota.
Yeah.
So for
Dota kills.
I contributed to that stat.
so,
But
but
the 20.
so I was very much like, I was not to say anti-Dota, but I kind of resented Dota for a very long time.
Like, what is this game?
I
Ew.
understand that feeling when you're Dota, League of Legends. I think there's serious
Yeah.
feeling like, what is League of Legends?
Maybe from your POV, it's like, ew, it's so slow paced. What is this farming? Ew, I just want to get into action. What is
the
this?
scope? Why the sniper cannot first person?
Right.
For me, it was just more of like the confusion of like, how do I even actually play this thing? Because you remember Warcraft 3 Dota was very rough, if you remember correctly.
Oh yeah,
You
buying
remember,
items,
like buying
for
items,
sale.
selecting heroes.
Oh yeah,
The skill keybinds.
Skill keybinds.
legacy.
It was like
legacy keys.
you could not make a game like less accessible, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But you need to press P all the way there to buy a shop.
Wait. Let me press my ulti, guys. Wait.
And consider that this is extra ironic coming from someone who loves StarCraft.
Oh yeah.
but you know, so it's like at that point in time, like I barely knew a thing about Dota. Like I didn't know what the heroes were called. I didn't even know what a river was, you know?
Oh, high ground, low ground, I have no idea.
No, nothing. I knew zilch. I knew nothing about
And
this
here's
game.
the mic.
And here's the microphone.
How?
And I'm in the spot. So
Were you with someone or were you alone?
alone.
Oh god! Oh god!
So I had no one knowledgeable to like fall back on. I had no one to rely on. I literally had to just come up with something on the spot.
This one goreng betul.
How?
Sampai hangis goreng.
So like I just literally started calling what I saw. So, you know, like
Okay, that's the
like-
start. Okay, this is,
it's like
that old man is
I don't think
running.
it's that bad. I don't think.
I mean, it was something more lines like it was like I was trying to do like my best Toby One impression, I guess. Or rather, like I was trying to do an impression of a commentator.
I like how like it's your first time you resented, yet your benchmark is I want to try to do my best Toby one.
Because like again, I was working at Gizmo. I was listening to like
Okay,
all
you're playing.
all the games that were playing in the background. So like I knew of people like Toby One.
Oh, did you need to OB at that time?
Oh no.
Okay, thank God.
Right.
Yeah.
God,
No,
I don't know.
it wasn't that far. Yeah. All I needed was to control the mic. That's all. Yeah, but I was just calling exactly how I was. I was doing more like it was where I was starting to do action commentary. So it's like I was just talking about the actions that was happening on screen. So like this guy killed this guy, and I was going off like literally the name, not the name of the character, but the name of the player.
Yeah.
So because that was the most visible thing. So I said, oh, this guy like has gone straight in. Got the kill done, and now he's leaving away. You know, this was just describing what I was seeing.
It's like
on
really
screen.
baseline.
Very
Yeah,
baseline.
yeah.
But I was doing it in a way where like I was trying to imitate a commentator. So I was doing it with like all the flair, the kind of like whenever something exciting happened, like a big ultimate or skill happened, like I try to do that. Whoa!
It looks big.
Yeah.
But is that your first time ever commentating?
Yeah, it actually was.
Wait.
Oh my God, this is the second person who cepuk emas like legitly like
So
go.
so
No knowledge.
so the thing was that like by like it wasn't really something that was coming out of nowhere per se, because like I grew up watching Formula One, right? And one of the things that I loved about watching Formula One was like listening to the commentators and what they were talking about.
Yeah.
And I was like always constantly was thinking like, how do they know? You know, how do they know the things they're talking about and how they call it at the right moment? So I always had this kind of fascination with how sports broadcasts and commentary works, right? And at the same time as well, like a lot of my cousins especially, they were also into watching WWE or WWF back in the day. So
the commentator they are crazy.
so with a lot of like my classmates as well, they all watched like The Rock, Triple H, and all this WrestleMania stuff.
But somehow you paid attention to the commentator.
I was paying more attention to the commentator than actually watching the match, because I was more fascinated by how different like WWF or WWE wrestling commentators do their commentary compared to actual sports. Because like when I listen to others, like when I listen to football, right, it's like it's more dry. It's more like, you know, talking about the players, just talking about like the kind of plays they're doing and how they're setting up for goals, things like that. But when it came to WWE, it was like it was fascinating to me to see how they do this storytelling. Like they give the proper background of who these wrestlers are, what's really at stake when it comes to this championship match. It's like why is there beef between two of these wrestlers in the first place? The history of these two, right? And that's what WWE commentators are really good at, the storytelling aspect of it.
Yeah.
So when it came to my own approach to commentary, it's like I always wanted to do something that's different than what I normally see in like other sports broadcasts, right? I didn't want to just be the football commentator goes like goal all the damn time, like it's as if it's the only thing I know. It's like whenever a goal happens, like I want to actually be able to tell people stories and like be able to follow along a storyline all the way to its conclusion. And particularly for me, a big influence when it came to wrestling commentary was the passion, right? The emotions, the emotional impact of all those calls. And I tried my very best to incorporate that kind of style, even from that very first commentary itself. Like I was imitating like how WWE commentators get overly excited when something happens, something big happens. I was trying to measure, or rather, trying to recreate that sort of same emotional impact I get whenever I watch WWE matches. So that was the thing. So by the time I finished like filling in for those commentators at that event, like I was coming out of the booth like feeling very dejected. Like the whole time, like I felt like I didn't know what I was doing. Like I felt I was doing a disservice, really, especially given how much I was enjoying the other comedies before. So I felt like I was just really doing a pale imitation, of what they were doing. But to my surprise, like the people who were watching at the time that came up to me, it's like, bro, that was awesome, man.
Wow, the recognition.
That was like that really like started that was sort of like the spark for me in a sense, because it made me realize that, in spite of the facts that, I didn't really know much about this game, that I didn't really know much about this scene, or even like this is UniMas. Like I study in Swinburne University, which is like very far away, like completely different world in that sense. So I like the fact that even despite that, I was still able to connect with an audience to be able to put up a show, a performance that they enjoyed. That was really the spark that made me go like, oh, wait a minute, this might be something I could try to do. So yeah. So long story short, like that experience like led me to Gizmo hiring me to do commentaries for their own internal Dota tournaments from that point on. So it culminated into when Sugar Bun decided to host their first like state level tournament in Dota, and I was literally the first person they called up to commentate for that.
Like when was this? Like in
2015, I want to say 2014 to 2015, around that time period.
Right.
So
quite early on.
And bear in mind, this is only within like the Sarawakian, or rather the Kuching local esports scene, right? So I knew that the real Malaysian scene per se is over here, right, in Selangor, but in a sense like that actually gave me a unique opportunity to make a name for myself within my own community. Like working at that cyber cafe meant that I knew a lot of the people who come every other day, either to practice, to rank up with their friends, and doing tournaments, like they'll all come together and play through the whole bracket. So I started to get to know people. That's where I first met Kelvin Pang. Like at the time he was running like
he was sleeping in the CC.
I
mean, follow up from the previous episode.
Were you the one that got slapped by the sleeper?
Were you the one who fought with him?
I don't think so, no.
Okay, different person.
Yeah, different person. But Kelvin at the time was like he was the manager of like the second best like team. And I say second best because they always consistently lost to the Gizmo team.
Okay.
Yeah,
the
so
Gizmo team is always like the...
Yeah, the Gizmo team was always the number one. Like they were always
bicycle.
Yeah. Like Gizmo Arena had their own CS, and they had their own Dota team. And their Dota team especially was very successful. Like they dominated virtually every tournament they went to in Kuching. But Kelvin at the time was trying to also build his own esports team. So he literally out of his own pocket was sponsoring these players to play for his team, but they can never, in spite of that, they could never like beat the Gizmo Arena team. Like every final was always his team versus Gizmo Arena, and Gizmo always win.
And Gizmo is always like the gatekeeper. Like if you can beat them, then you think about like going beyond that.
Yeah,
Right.
but
Is this Gizmo, the logo is like a G and a circle thing?
Yes.
yeah.
I thought
Okay,
it's like
I think it's the same
oh,
thing.
is it like a gear?
Yeah,
it's
like
a
a
gear.
gear.
You
Gear.
push into it and a G
Yeah.
in the middle. Right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I think now I know which
Yeah.
Gizmo
Yeah.
we are talking about. Okay, I just realized which Gizmo this is.
Yeah.
And why I asked like when was the timeline that you commentated for them is because I did gigs for them as well.
Mm.
Oh.
Obviously online, and I went to Kuching once to do a show, and the
come here,
setup
come
was
here,
by Gizmo.
Come here a bit, cannot
Oh,
see your
yeah.
face.
And the setup was by Gizmo. So, so I believe that was like in 2018 or something. So I guess you moved to KL.
Oh, that time when I was
by
already in
then.
KL.
Yeah, maybe that's why they were also like, oh, okay, we don't have Victor anymore. We need to find someone to fill.
Yeah.
You're the
Somehow,
replacement.
yeah, I don't know how somehow, community, you connect, and then you just do their gig, something like that.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much like that because like by the time we got to 2017, and this is now leading to the story how I ended up getting into esports as a career now. It's because like by this point, by the time in 2017, like university still wasn't quite working out for me. Like even though like I switched over to a new course and was trying to find like a new footing, it started feeling like I was spending more of my like energy working on like Gizmo stuff. Like I was like doing the dedicated server thing, right? I was like starting to do more commentaries here and there and starting to learn the craft, etc. And it reached a point where like I was starting to think like maybe this is not what I want to do, as in like getting the degree in IT is like maybe this is not what I actually want to do. I mean, in a sense, it's also like not what I wanted to do, right? Like I actually came to university to study mechatronics engineering. Now I'm forced to do this whole different course.
You're already out
yeah,
at that point when you restarted.
yeah. So, and this was around like 2016. That was when Overwatch came out. Yeah. So, remember I said I was a fan of Blizzard. Like I love StarCraft, right? So the moment like I heard that Blizzard is coming out with this new game, and not only was it like a shooter, but it was a hero-based shooter with ultimates and skills.
Oh,
Okay.
at that time it was
It's like the best of all worlds.
Yeah, it was like
never think about it before.
yeah, so it's like a combination. Funny enough, I love shooters. Like I grew up on CS, right? Then through my commentary, I started to learn more about Dota. I started to love Dota from that point on.
Okay.
Yeah, so I started playing it. I started understanding how the game works intricately. I started watching the internationals. I went to my first TI. Like literally right around that time. Like
Wait,
no, I didn't go. I watched the first like Pub Stomp.
Okay,
I didn't go to TI. I didn't go to TI. Just a Pub Stomp.
Okay.
But it was like the first time I really paid attention, right, to the
Right.
internationals.
Is it 2016?
This was like 2014, 2015. Yeah, so TI4 I think was the first one.
And the pub storm was in KL?
Yeah, where is-
Kuching.
Kuching.
Oh, it's in Kuching. I
Yeah.
thought it was in KL.
We literally organized our own pub. The club. We had like an esports, sort of like an esports club at the time. They organized their own pub stomp.
Oh.
And there were like tons of people.
Yeah, there was quite a fair. Like we literally booked there was like a cafe or like a restaurant kind of thing. So we had like they put up the projector. We played
Oh, that sounds
on
fun.
that, and then we're just all hanging out at this like cafe basically watching TI.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Oh, yeah. That's why we need to bring back the pub storm.
Yeah.
But we also need to bring back the people who goes to pub storm.
That might be the harder part.
That's quite hard.
Yeah. So that's why Overwatch, when it came out, it was just that perfect storm, right? It's like not only was it like something that I could easily get into, but it was also something that was by a company that I followed for quite a long time, and I was like really excited to jump right in. So when M8 Gaming started doing their community cups, I took part in not took part. It's in like play.
Such a name I haven't heard for a long time.
Isn't that
Yeah.
Amate Hexa?
Yeah, before.
Yeah,
that.
Right, before that, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
It was like
Oh my
yeah,
God.
that was early days of M8. Yeah,
Yeah.
basically. So, but they started off like doing all these weekend cups,
Yes.
in Overwatch, and the way they did it right was that they had like they set up the lobby in Overwatch. They usually have more than 12 players to take part each time. So they will have like they will just randomly select like 6 versus 6 first. Then the rest who cannot join in, we just join spectators, and then we have a voice chat together.
Oh.
So, and this was where like in between, like we in the voice chat would just basically like quite literally talk shit about the players as they were playing in the cup.
Oh my god, you can't have that now.
That's basically commentating.
Basically, like kind of commentary, but like it's people that you know in a way, so it allows you to do a little bit of it's a bit more fun.
You should talking to the next to the personal level.
Yeah,
because you know.
But like
it sounds fun.
No, it was just super fun. But so when it came to my turn, like in the spectator mode, like that's where I started doing commentary. I started commentating on the weekend cup match as it was happening, and that's when Bleed Senpai noticed me.
Right.
So Bleed,
Mr. Clement.
yeah. So Bleed, like Clement, he after he heard like me doing commentary for that, he was like, "Oh, would you like to commentate for it's an event we're going to be holding, like on ground event we're going to be holding soon."
On ground rules.
Yeah.
Called the
I don't remember what it's called, but it was the first on ground Overwatch tournament
Overwatch
in Malaysia. at the
Whoa.
time.
in Malaysia.
They held it in One Utama.
One Utama?
Yeah.
Wait, which tournament is this? It can't be Predator.
No. This
I don't
was
think it's
no,
Predator.
Predator never had Overwatch.
Yeah, that's why I'm thinking like, which tournament is this?
It's their own, I guess.
no, it was their
IP.
own. It was like something that like Bleed and Justin, remember?
Yeah.
Genesis. They were organizing that.
Genesis,
Yeah.
I
So
have no idea
so
what
the
this tournament is.
the interesting thing about this was that Bleed literally had to convince his partners to pay for my flight ticket from Kuching.
Oh,
you were
I
still in Kuching?
Yeah, I was still in Kuching at the time. I was still living and studying in Kuching at the time. So he had to convince his partners that instead of hiring 2 casters, he's going to hire me, 1 caster from Kuching, to come over to cast for this on-ground event.
Yeah, no pressure.
No pressure.
no pressure.
I can't remember if he told me before or after the event about that, but yeah.
Luckily he didn't tell you beforehand.
But I think I found out during the event itself that because I obviously I came and like I realized that I was the only caster, right? And basically to fill in the co-commentator slot, they actually had the players to take turns, to commentate alongside me.
But it's you
But
like the
it's
entire
me,
way.
the entire 11 hours. Like
the main.
literally the event overran its time, so by the time we finished it was probably like 1 or 2 a.m. So the mall already closed by then. Like we were the only people there and everyone was still cheering because it was the final of that bracket. So yeah.
That's fun.
I mean, again, like those were the days where like if you're a caster, like you're expected to like, okay, it's only you, and then it goes like 10, 11, 12 hours.
Yeah, I think that
Solo
back in the day,
cast.
it's like that.
Pretty much something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was also like it was also one of the few moments that like I lost my voice. So because you had to bear in mind that like this where we did the event, I can't remember if I think we had headsets, but it wasn't particularly the monitor wasn't good. So I could really only hear myself from the actual PA systems. So you can imagine like doing that for 11 hours straight, like my voice blew out completely by the end of it. So because I really cannot, it's really hard to control your voice when you cannot actually hear the feedback or the return, right?
Yeah, like this.
Yeah.
I can hear like his voice is louder than everyone else.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but and from
It's just what is it? A normal thing because you can't hear.
Because you maxed out all.
No. This is earphone. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why you hear me super loud. You need to tune down you.
I turn you down
Right.
here. You're actually the lowest compared to me.
I'm the problem now.
No, you're not the problem. It's just the EQ part. It's nothing.
But yeah, so yeah, I mean, it was still a hell of a lot of fun. Like that was the first time I got to actually meet a lot of the Overwatch community face to face as well. That's where I first met Neon Faith.
Oh, wow.
Like that's the first time I ever met him in person. You know, that's the first time I got into contact with the people who eventually became Fire Dragoon, Overwatch.
Oh.
So like all the people who are part of the Overwatch community at the time literally came together at this one event. So
I love Overwatch. The Overwatch is such a game that is like really good for people who don't know about the game and who knows about the game, like spectator wise. But yeah, it's so sad that
I mean, it's actually like one of the hardest games to commentate on.
yeah, because
Primary-
everything is going on so fast compared to like
so
PUBG.
fast. So because like when it came to Dota, like I mentioned, trying to imitate Toby Wan a lot,
Yeah,
and the guy goes rap god quite frequently, right? Like he really
you
just
have to.
talk. And I just kind of like it was started off as kind of an imitation, but it really became like the only way I could actually call the action, right?
Because it's too fast.
Because it's too fast and like I don't want to miss out anything, you know. So it's like I try to be as like comprehensive as possible whenever I'm calling the action, down to like, you know, exactly what kind of skills they were using and at what time, right?
Yeah.
And somehow that became such a natural fit going into Overwatch, where like not only I had like the sort of like game sense in that, like even though it's super chaotic, like spectating at Overwatch, but I could still follow along the action well enough. And I already had the background from commentating Dota that I knew how to like, you know, spit flow off the top of my head and literally call the action as it was. And again, on top of that, bringing that passion and excitement, you know, screaming at the top of my lungs, you know, when a team kill happens, that kind of thing. So it was like the perfect like environment for me as a commentator somehow. And it was in spite of the fact it was so hard. Like it was something that I knew I could handle. Like it's something I not only knew I could handle, but it's like something I extra wanted to do, because now having gotten in contact with this Overwatch community that's now growing, you know, it felt like such an opportunity. And this is exactly when I got that job offer. So off the back of that performance at Wanatama, that's where Justin gave me a job offer to move to KL and be their in-house commentator.
Wow.
For Genesis.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. But so is this like the first time, like as a commentator, that you were able to make money off?
Not the first time technically, because I was still paid for my work when I did commentary for Gizmo Arena at the time.
Right.
Right.
Oh,
But this is the first time I was like actively joining a company and being a salaried person in that company.
Wow, so you get a fixed salary,
Yeah.
and all you need to do is just commentate
Well,
whatever they throw at you.
Initially that was the plan,
Okay.
but that didn't quite turn out that way, unfortunately, as we will get into shortly. But
All right.
I like that we are already 1 hour and 30 minutes and we just started going into esports.
Yeah. Welcome to Victor's life.
exactly as planned.
That's how chaotic your life is. But at that time, I feel like it's normal to hire someone as a full-time casters. Because I feel like some other, like League of Legends does that as well with me and Ikuto and everyone else. You with Overwatch. I think the only one that doesn't do that was CS and Dota. Because Dota doesn't have...
Dota never had.
Yeah, Dota never have a consistent tournament throughout the year. In Malaysia, there's a few only. League of Legends, we have like a tournament usually for the whole of the year. What about Overwatch? How much does it have tournament-wise per year?
So it used to be, especially when Emmett was running it, like they were still doing the Community Cups thing, right?
Yeah.
But it's also, when I joined up with Genesis, this was when Genesis was working very closely with MSI.
Oh, okay.
And MSI decided that they want to start hosting Overwatch events.
Oh.
So I think like yearly, there was at least like at some college level, there would like be several tournaments, and like in fact, like Justin was also trying to establish a college gate league, right? So Overwatch was one of those games inside that college league. So they were trying to build that league system. But at the same time, MSI was also were also building like their kind of like their MSI center in front of Laoyat. I don't know if you remember this.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah. So
What happened to that building now?
it's changed hands a lot.
Yeah, I remember now.
Yeah.
It's an Apple store.
Yeah, it was. But MSI was trying to set up their version of an Apple store.
Yes,
but the top floor of it actually had like a setup for hosting tournaments.
Yes, I remember
So
that.
so that's where they will host their Overwatch tournaments in.
Okay.
Yeah. So there was like I can't say off the top of my head right now how many tournaments there were in a year.
Yeah,
But it's definitely
enough lah.
It was more than enough. More than enough.
Right. I want to pivot a little bit at this timeline, right? Like, how about family? Like, you dropped out twice, basically, and now you're getting into gaming. Like, and your mom's a teacher. Like, how was it that time?
How do you explain as well?
Yeah. It was not great, to put it very simply, because again, like I was doing this off of my mother was paying for my college at the time. My university at the time, right? So every semester that I failed basically it meant that I wasted her money. So there's that, you know. But second, like throughout my life, I think like I was really trying hard to live up to that expectation, you know, that both my mom and my dad had for me, you know, because again, like my dad particularly, he never got to go to university. Like his family literally could not afford to send him to university, so the most he had was a Form 6 education, right? So he emphasized a lot to us about how important it is to have a higher education, like how important it is to have a degree, you know, in the first place. And the fact that like I was not only struggling in university, but like I basically had to start over again. Like you can imagine that did not sit well, you know, with my parents at all. And to top it off, like when you talk about the support that I got from my family, like I just basically felt like I got anti-support in that. So like when it came to my interest in music, like the thing that my dad would always tell me is like, stop playing the guitar. You got to focus on your studies right now, because it's the thing that you must do.
Yeah.
Whereas like, but ironically, it's like it was my passion for music that was allowing me to make new friends. You know, to actually connect a lot more with my fellow like classmates and my fellow peers, and to give that up was like, yeah, no way, that's not happening at
impossible.
all. That's like no, it's like yeah, no way that's gonna happen. Like I'm not gonna put this thing down, you know, just because you said so. And especially when it came to studies, like that's been one of the sticking points about me, because remember I said I went to a primary school and I was pegged as slow as a learner, not because I was actually bad, you know, at studies. Like I was actually decent enough, but because I had to essentially learn how to learn in a completely different language that I was not prepared for, it meant that I took longer to catch up compared to other kids my age.
That's an additional bump.
Yeah, it's like an existential obstacle that I had to overcome, right? So, but it sort of like, I guess like from my parents' perspective, it just made it seem like, you know, I was not doing as well compared to my peers. And it made it seem like I wasn't good enough, or rather, like I was not performing to the standard that they expected out of me. And that came down really hard on me. Like, it felt for me like I was being blamed a lot for not performing well academically, and it was always like my diverging interests, like in music, in video games, computers, that it was blamed, you know, for why I was not doing well academically. So I remember this one time, like I was at a mall together with my mom and my sister, and there was an esports competition happening at the time, and my mom was watching, like seeing the show happening at the time, and she was going like, why, like then she started like coming to me and going like, why aren't you doing that? You know, you play computer games all the time. Why are you not there?
in a sarcastic way or in a genuine way?
It felt genuine to me, pretty much. It felt more like it felt kind of like it was like for a long time, like the message from them was like, stop playing with your computer games, stop playing with your guitar, and then suddenly when she first saw like, what esports was, then she starts turning around to me and asked like, why am I not doing this? you know so you can imagine, like emotionally I was really in a very tough place, right? Because like this was something that I mean, especially when you talk about esports, it wasn't something that I necessarily set out to do in the first place. It was just like something that learned that like the talents or the abilities I had suited this kind of role. My command in English, was what led to my boss giving me that shot, to fill in for those competitions in the first place, right? My knowledge in computers and playing computer games for a very long time allowed me to understand how the esports world, what works behind it,
Yeah.
But for my parents' perspective, it's like it somehow felt like it didn't matter so much. What they mattered more was just what my results was on paper, and even in competitions that I've won, like I actually got a trophy for, I think it was like something to do with like presenting a poetry or something, like a public speaking kind of thing. Yeah. So I actually got a trophy for that, and when I presented it to my dad, like first question he asked was like, "How come you only got second place?" Yeah. So
all come back to what you said before this.
yeah, I mean,
Okay, A, why not A plus?
Asian parent.
It's Asian parents.
it's a very Asian parent thing, but I think for my parents in particular, like it was like somehow I've not, in spite of what they tried to do for me, it felt like it wasn't giving the result that they wanted, and in a sense, it kind of forced me, to take pride in the things that I was able to accomplish in the first place, and it also drove me to like every time my dad tells me to stop listening to that like noisy music or stop playing the guitar, it drove me want to do it that more actually, because like to me like this is what I want to do, but they want me to do something else. And that all came to a head, by this time, this 2017, when I got that job offer. Because like here, like I was already 7 years deep into what was supposed to be a 4-year long university course, right? This was a path like that my family had kind of like set up for me to go into from the very beginning. Like the end goal of this was supposed to be I had to get a degree, but the more I thought about it, the more I realized that this whole time, like I've just been trying to tread along a path that my parents were setting up for me, disregarding what I actually wanted, right?
Yeah.
And to me, like the job offer really represented an actual opportunity for me to forge my own path. And that was why, like, in the end, I literally made a decision. Like, I decided, I just want, like, I think back to the times where I was always afraid to, like, step into the spotlight, afraid to, put myself out there to show, like, what I'm capable of. And I felt like, not only was this, like, validation that I've so craved for such a long time, but this was also proof like actual proof, right? That not only I do have the talent for it, but is actually being acknowledged by someone else. And that meant a lot for me, you know?
But that was a big leap of faith as well that you took
Yeah.
to try to make this happen, because if you fail, then it would be a major backfire.
There was no plan B, right?
Yeah, there was no plan
There's
B.
no plan B. It's like,
Not only that topic will be the butt of the joke for years to come.
Probably
I mean,
forever.
Forever, yeah, it'll be stuck with you forever.
I mean, at that point, like, I couldn't care less actually about what my parents thought about it. Funny enough, because again, to me, like the validation that mattered wasn't that. Sorry. The validation wasn't so much coming from my parents' side. You know, that my mom and my dad was recognizing that I had this unique talent, but it was more that I was getting this validation from literally across the sea, right?
Yeah.
Across the water to like people who initially I've not even seen in person, but just from my voice alone, that drove Clement to want to book me, right, to this one show. So it made me realize that I could be so much more than what I am currently.
Yeah.
Right. So you took out the job, you moved to KL, and was a permanent move, I guess?
Yeah, I mean,
Until
for
now,
all intents and purposes. Yeah, I mean,
Wow.
until now, like I'm still living and like making my living here.
It almost sounds like everything that you get involved with, you dive into, you just went all the way. Like,
much.
okay, there's an opportunity. Although it's like you can't really see like what's next. Maybe it can be a bit scary, but you're like, okay, let's just do it, right?
I mean, that's the beauty of going all in.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go all in, not just half-heartedly. You go all in with all your passion and everything. I also feel like somewhat relatable with the parenting, the parent style. Might be tough love, might be that's the motivation that they try to show you. That's my cup, by the way. You almost did.
Almost.
Cheers.
Cheers,
I
people.
kosong. Yeah, because sometimes parents, lagi-lagi the old generation, they are so used to tough love.
No, I mean,
And
again,
that's the
like-
results.
like I think back to like my father's own like childhood. Like he was a middle child of like more than a dozen brothers and sisters. And on top of that, like my paternal grandfather was quite literally an abusive alcoholic.
Oh God.
So the generational, I can see like the generational trauma that my dad had was like, you know, that abusive sort of like upbringing,
Yeah.
just minus alcoholism.
And I also feel like it's not as abusive as before. That means your father was the final stop.
I mean, genuinely, I think he tried to not repeat the mistakes of his own father.
I can think so.
But yeah, it's still. I mean, definitely could have been better.
Of course, yeah. totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. Okay. But
Yeah.
it's okay. So I'm done pivoting.
Change topic, guys. Change
Yeah.
topic.
I'm done pivoting. So if we were to come back
I
to
mean,
like,
when
you sign up with Genesis, I believe,
yeah,
at
Genesis.
that time, and then you became their in-house commentator. So you just went like from there, like show after show.
Oh well, it didn't really turn out that way.
Oh, that's another story.
That's,
Oh God.
So okay, like literally the first job, or rather the first like task, I suppose, like I got when I first came here was that Justin, like, again, okay, this was like 8 years ago, right? So whatever the fuck, I'm just gonna
Oh
be
God.
real.
Oh no.
Okay, so they were having a tournament, an Overwatch tournament in Help University, and his directive to me is that go there together with these two other guys, and you're going to help them set up, and you're going to do the live stream for this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds simple enough.
Sounds simple enough.
Damn. I'm scared.
Go there. So the partner I had, William was his name. He was in charge of getting the PCs set up and done. So brought all the computers. Seems fine. Got it all set up nicely. Got the tables put aside. We took one of the classrooms basically. Got all the tables. Yeah, just converted the tables and chairs.
Yeah.
Like where the lecturer normally would sit, we turned that into the production station for a live stream. What I didn't know at the time was that not only was I going to be like setting up the live stream setup, I was also going to be producing it. And on top of that, I
have no idea.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that going there. It's only when I arrived at it, I was like, okay, who's going to be the producer? It's like, you?
Okay.
Okay.
Well, they did say like go there and set up the live stream.
Yeah.
Not do the live stream.
I guess that was the definition of like set up
so
and do.
So I had to do that. On top of that, like I had to cast it.
Okay.
I had to host.
It's a one-man show.
Yeah, it was basically a one-man show. I had to be the one controlling the live stream, and also doing the commentary, and also doing the observing.
And tournament admin?
So I mean, that was supposed to be handled by the third guy.
When you say it's
All right.
supposed to be, I mean, did it?
Yeah.
Did he do it?
Yeah, yeah.
When you say supposed to, I mean, it's like
yeah. He picked that up.
Well, here's the thing. When it came to that tournament, so like William, like I don't really fault William for this because he was also given very like last minute. Yeah, this is incredibly last minute. So that's pretty much why the situation unfolded as it did. It's like at the last minute they had to get these computers, they had to get this setup done here. The last minute he had to have me fill in because like the Genesis was also doing another event elsewhere. So it was only like me, William, and one other guy to handle this thing. But William, like, he did the computer setup nicely. He got the server that was required because this was a diskless system that they were using. So there's no hard disk in each of the actual computers. They had to use like a server to feed that. Problem was the cables that they brought to the event, those were Cat 5e cables.
Right.
Which are
Cat
not
6?
Not Cat
instead of Cat
6.
6.
Oh, it's not Cat 6.
So
Okay.
it wasn't fast enough to have the diskless system work quickly enough.
Oh, Cat 5e cannot do diskless.
Cannot. Like Cat 5e can do bursts of 1000 Mbps.
Yeah,
but
they can't do consistent.
But it cannot do consistent.
Yeah.
So, for a diskless system, you need Cat 6 is the minimum. Yeah.
Oh my god.
So you had to. So imagine like not only was booting up extremely slow because of the reduced speeds, but even loading into a map took forever.
Oh no.
So when we had to do the streams, like literally every time like we changed the map, it involved like a waiting period of like maybe 15 minutes before the map, not only the map fully loads, but the characters also load in.
Yeah. After
So-
everything load, it's going to be fine. But
Yeah,
waiting for it to
waiting
load.
for it, and
And
in that-
Overwatch is
And it's like wait and wait and wait.
yeah,
like, it's not like Dota. It's one map.
Yeah.
This
There's like
is-
multiple maps.
Overwatch.
Yeah. Then what happened? Like,
yeah.
how did the show survive or did it not survive?
Do you
or-
just go?
we just had literally we had no choice but to just move forward as is. So yeah, we just
Then
every
the delay is like
every match was basically way longer than it needed to because of the loading time. So
I'm surprised. Oh, because this PC is a loan from a cyber cafe. Is it?
it was a loan from Cyber Cafe, but and also like again the cable's completely the wrong grader cable to use.
yeah.
So yeah, it's just a very unfortunate situation.
I'm still surprised that you could pull it off at the end of the day though.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like players would probably be like, screw this, I'm out, it takes
I
too
mean,
much
they
time.
are not players; they are students. I'm guessing.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was-
So they don't have
Okay.
the divanness to like, F this, I'm out.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I have another tournament
You have another one.
the next day,
If this is
no.
like even semi-professional, they will just leave the building.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was not. It
Okay.
was not. It was not a professional tournament by any stretch. I mean, again, it was just a event inside Help University.
Yeah,
or
it's
Help
an
University student.
internal-
Yeah, internal kind of event.
Students.
So a small event. The thing was that even Justin particularly didn't really care actually.
I think that's the reason why.
Yeah,
There's a lot of people
because again, his attention was on the
the
other event.
others- yeah, a lot of attention was on there. So
Yeah.
he's like, Here you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
Bola,
figure it
bola,
out,
bola, bola.
figure it out
Whatever,
yourself, right?
That was
Right.
the situation, yeah.
But you can imagine what a nightmare it was for me. Like literally my first task, first day, technically not the first day on the job, but literally the first job of the day. Yeah. So it's like, man.
Here's esport. Welcome to hell. Like,
Well, yeah. Yeah. Little did I know that was like the start of my nightmare, basically.
but
Yeah.
you know what people say when you go through that style of tournaments, that every other tournament that's like almost close, you're like, not that bad. Lah.
Yeah, I've been there, done that.
I've been worse.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, the next like
It sounds like there's something worse.
Yeah, I'm waiting for
I'm
it.
waiting for it as well.
the next event. Well, I'm actually kind of trying to remember. I probably should have like checked this up before I came here, but basically it was like a major event in this was a different college. I think it was a different help university actually.
Oh, it's another help.
But a different one, like a bigger one. But it was kind of like they were billing it as like a major like college level tournament. So they had like not just Overwatch, they also had like COD, they also had FIFA.
Wait, they have COD, not mobile, right?
Not about the PlayStation version.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's rare to see.
So yeah, they're trying to do a multi-game like event, and it was all open only to college students at the time.
Oh, okay, that
Yeah.
sounds cool.
And this was actually the EO for this was Bleed Senpai himself.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Clement. The thing, so I was going to go there to commentate for their Overwatch segment of it. I arrived at the event, and to find out that Clement and his team had actually pulled out of the event just the night before.
Oh, what happened?
So apparently a dispute going on between the organizer of this
Oh my God.
and also the EO that he represented.
Oh God.
Yeah. And basically it boiled down to a problem with communication about payments that was supposed to come to them. And Bleed's from Bleed's side, like basically he had not received the payments that he was promised from the organizer. And the organizer, this apparently like this has been an ongoing thing even before this event. But because of how unresponsive the organizer was, Bleed and the EO he was representing, like they made the decision to pull out because they could not guarantee that they could not guarantee that the event can run properly because of this issue. So they literally had to do like a closed door like meeting together with the organizer, and that was where Bleed and the organizer was arguing like about this non-payment thing. And this was literally like hours before when the event was supposed to start.
Hours before.
Yeah.
It was not even days. I was expecting days.
Because they literally pulled out the night before. So this meeting that they had at the start of the day was literally to try to resolve this issue.
And did it get resolved?
What happened next?
In the end, like they still refused to continue running the event.
Okay.
So it came down to us, like the individual community like leaders for each of the games, to organize the event.
I seen this before.
But you get paid? I mean,
did you get paid after that?
I went there in the capacity of Genesis, so technically yes, but
Technically,
I'm
the gaji is the payment lah.
I mean, I got gaji from Genesis law, but I don't know whether
between companies.
Yeah, maybe the power. I have no idea.
Right.
My
Okay. But
God.
basically, you came there to save the event.
Well, I had to because like I was there. I was even in that meeting because I was the representative from the Overwatch community.
Ah, because you're playing a different hat. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Right.
So like literally when we had to run that tournament, like I had to be the one to organize the bracket for that. So, and that's on top of like having to commentate for it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's how esport is, guys. If we only see the flowers lah. I mean, remember before this, you say we
Right.
only see the flowers in esports, and sometimes we don't see this kind of.
I distinctly remember during this time, like whenever I talk to like my relatives or friends about what I'm doing at this period of time.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like, oh, I'm working esports. I'm an esports caster, and like, wow, the reaction is always like, wow, it must be a dream job. I'm like,
you can
I'm
play
like,
games,
You
right?
get to play games
yeah.
every day,
And, like,
right?
and just
Yeah,
in my
please.
heart, I was just thinking like, it's really more of a nightmare to be honest.
Actually, I do say that to someone else in a different genre. I have a friend that do concerts.
Yeah.
He do audio setup for concerts. Like sometimes in Sunway they have concerts here and there. I always like, oh, that's such a fun. You can go to concert for free. Then I remember eSport and I just project to that. I would not love to work like that.
And then he gives you the same reaction like,
I didn't say to him because I was like
Oh.
answering in my brain. I'm like, okay, if I were in that situation, you know how bad production, like even today, like with our issue. What if it's in the concert situation?
yeah. And if in the concert you have like thousands of live audience who paid good amount of money to be at the concert,
Yeah.
even worse.
That's worse.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I countless situations like that where very unfortunately, Justin will promise certain things to his clients, but then it came down to us, like me and the people working inside Genesis, to figure out how to deliver on those promises. And oftentimes we just have to figure out some hacky way of doing it, So like, if we don't have like the proper equipment for it, we just have to find a way to budget.
Yeah,
just
I
have
get
to
what you
find
mean.
just have to find some way, of like showing that to the client, like, oh, at least we managed to pull this off. But in reality, it's like it's literally being held together by duct tape and hopes and dreams.
And hopes I like how you put hopes and dreams together with
But
that.
would you say that that's the fun of it?
Not to me, no.
That's what I want to ask. That's seriously what I want to ask.
Oftentimes, like I was always be in these kind of situations where like it's already live, where supposed to proceed to the match, and then boom, something happens, and in that instant, like I have to immediately think, okay, what can we do to solve the situation?
Yeah.
So I had to literally think on my feet, like I always remember like I was just always be in this state of like panic and tension. Like my heart would be beating out of my chest, and
But at the
my
same time,
mind
you
just
need to
racing.
cast.
At this point in time, I mean, it's not only when I was casting, but it's also when I was like doing technical setup, things like that. So like I was saying, like initially the plan was that I was going to be their in-house commentator, right? But that eventually like it became like from that first like job. It then realized that it's actually more than that. Like he also expects me to do producing, to also help with setups, to also help plan setups sometimes.
Oh, wow.
So it's like
To do everything.
From zero lah.
Yeah,
from zero experience.
From
Like this is not anything like was like literally not what I signed up for. Number one, but number two, it was like something that I had to literally learn as I go. So a lot of this like. Actually, like this is a perfect time to bring up. So a lot of the knowledge and support that I got during this time was from Deng Hexin. I'm not sure if you know him. Probably you don't know him that well. You remember Eason, Yi Gong-seng?
Eason, yeah.
Yeah.
Was that Eason from Big Machine?
Yeah.
Right.
He eventually, I think he started a partnership together with Manson from Big Machine at the time. But this is Eason, Yi Gong-seng. So at the time, at that time when I first met Eason and Hexin, they were both business partners with Justin. And Hexin and Eason, they were very young. Like they were like maybe in their 20s, early 20s. Hexin in particular, he was only 21 years old when I first met him, and he was still in college at the time. But they were also at the same time starting their own production company. Like they wanted to set up. Eventually, their plan was basically to set up their own studio so that they can do their own live productions and stuff like that. So Eason and Hexin became business partners together with Justin, where Justin will he will get the jobs from the clients, and then he will subcontract the producing to them. And yeah, so in E is extremely good with cameras. Like they're both photography like experts, so they knew how to operate cameras. Hershin knew how to run vMix. He knew how to be a live stream producer. So often when we did jobs together, like he would be the producer on hand. And I learned actually a lot of what of like my knowledge when it came to producing from him. Like even though he was literally like almost 10 years my junior, but he was the one who was like supporting me, like teaching me like, okay, this is how you do this is how you do that. And slowly as time went on, I learned so much from him, right? So, and it was this working relationships that I had, you know, within Genesis that was like super beneficial, because on the stuff that I didn't know how to do, like I could always defer to E or Hershin to get their expertise and knowledge and their advice on how to do it. If it came to stuff that had to do with like planning, I could refer to Eric Bong, because he was the one who was a project manager for a lot of things at the time, you know. And it was like, even though this was not what I signed up for when I joined in Genesis, but it was true working together with all these guys, you know, that I slowly started to learn bits and pieces and things here, a little bit from column A, a little bit from column B, and the accumulation of that knowledge has actually turned me into the person that I am right now, where like, you know, I can now like teach you how to do vMix stuff, you know, can teach you stuff about audio production and working with mixers. Like Hershin was also really good at mixers. Like I learned a lot about the fundamentals of how to wire things up from working with Hershin. And so it's a bit hard to talk about, but you know, even the time when like I ended up when I had my breakup, when I broke up with my partner for 4 years, like Hershin was the first one to actually come to my place and, you know, check up on me when he heard about it, you know. So like there was so much support, you know, I got from the people at Genesis. Like even to this day, like, you know, I'm still super grateful, you know, for the experience working with them. But that was kind of a brotherhood, quite literally forged in forged in hell, basically, because you can imagine like so much of what Genesis was doing at the time was really biting off more than we could actually chew. So, you know, we had to go into projects, you know, not only having to figure out how to deliver on something that, you know, we're just not equipped to deliver on, but on top of that, like having to deal with tensions growing between like Justin and Ethan, because even though this business partnership started off, you know, as like as a mutual beneficial kind of like a relationship, but what I came to learn later on was that that essentially Justin had been had really not held up his end of the deal. Let's put it that way. So on events where like he was supposed to subcontract the production side of things, so often he will ask Ethan to provide a quotation on how much it would cost, right, to do all this thing, to bring all this equipment out, to run an operation like this, and he will ask for them like, what's the cost price of this, like the raw cost without any like any profits on top of that. It's just the base cost of it, right? So the intent, like Ethan then gave him that number with the intention that, you know, this is so that you know that this is how much this is going to cost us. So then the expectation is that Justin was going to be able to add on additional like profit on top of that, so that they will be able to make money, right?
Yeah.
Because it's supposed to be a business relationship, you know. But what they found out was that Justin was literally taking that quotation and quoting it directly to the client without any modification, which meant that effectively for Ethan and Hershin, they had to do the job, but they would not get anything at the end of it. It was just be net zero.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, should add on
So
more.
that it happened multiple times, and
Multiple times. Oh, wow.
and unfortunately that led to a breakdown of the relationship between the two. So that's when Ian Hershin, like, I think like once they broke off from that relationship, that's when the dominoes really started to fall for Genesis, because slowly and gradually, like the people who had enjoyed such a close working relationship together were starting to look for other avenues already. You know, there was also when like people were already looking for offers outside of the company, and this all came to a head when Justin wanted to force us to sign a non-compete agreement.
Oosh.
But basically, like making it so that after if we were to leave Genesis, that we were not allowed to work for other EOs.
What?
Yeah.
What are you?
Okay. Well, as to the best of my Malaysian labor law knowledge, that is actually not applicable.
Exactly.
That is basically that is in a way slavery. So in Malaysia,
Which
it
is
is not
which is,
legal.
which is exactly what Eric like pointed out to us. Like
Mm.
it's like this is not something that's like enforceable at all. Like, so I mean, by that point, like I've already gotten like an offer to work for TGC.
Right.
Yeah, that's through Brian and Dawe. Yeah,
That's when their office was still in Kota Damansara.
I think at that time it was at Kota Damansara, but it was around the time when they were planning to move to Quill
Right.
already. So, but at that time they were already expanding. Like the team itself was already expanding and moving. Like I mean, again, moving to a new office. They're going to be moving into a new like environment, or rather a new path for them. Basically,
All that chaos.
All-
Moving
yeah,
everything.
yeah. But it was also when they were expanding massively, like they wanted to build like their own green screen studio inside Quill City Mall, you know, and stuff like that.
Wow.
So I was brought on to be one of their production executives, for TGC. So I already got that offer by that point, so I never signed that non-compete thing.
So it was just an easy decision for you.
Yeah, it was
Let's go.
Right.
It was easy decision for me to let go. But you know, the even though like a lot of the skills I've learned, was out from that period of time when I was with Genesis, but the hell that I had to go through, I honestly like,
Can't imagine, man.
Like it just felt not worth it, at the end of the day. Like in spite of the fact that I'm still grateful, that I've built like these kind of relationships, with my fellow coworkers, that I've got all this support from these people, but it was too much. Like it was already like it was more than I could like. It was not what I signed up on for. In the first place, it was not what I. It's not what I wanted to keep doing. So I figured like, when the offer to get the TGC came up, it was a perfect time for me to like, actually move into a completely like move into a new environment, because the environment that I was currently in like was really toxic. Yeah.
So how long do you spend with Genesis?
With Genesis, I think about 2 years maybe.
Wow, that's a lot of story within 2 years.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a lot
That's a
more
lot more.
breakdown.
There's a lot more. Like I remember like this was when I first met Adrian Gafford, actually. Was when quite literally was when the Sunway Pyramid Rebel Coliseum happened.
Rebel Coliseum. Yeah.
So I remember what happened then. So it was me and Hershin going there. Hershin was doing the production for it. I was the commentator slash host basically for the Overwatch segment. So when we first arrived, like the night before, because usually malls you can only do your work like from 10 p.m. onwards when the mall closes.
After everything closed down.
Yeah, everything closes down. Then that is when you can actually start doing your work. So normally we'll just go to the paces, like set up the cabling and stuff. So what I saw was that they were bringing out their computers to set up for the event,
Yeah.
and they were not PCs. They were not desktops. They were laptops.
Okay.
And on top of that,
They were laptops, okay.
they were not, on top of that, they were laptops of different spec.
Oh, God.
So they were different laptops.
Yeah,
It's
different
literally like
laptop.
what we have stock and just put it on.
Yeah, quite literally that.
Okay.
Okay.
So-
And it's Overwatch. Overwatch is like, at that time, Overwatch was the most intensive
It was quite.
esports
It requires quite a lot of like
horsepower, let's just say.
Yeah, quite a lot of like performance
Yeah.
required for that game, right? But you have all these different laptops starting from like mid tier to, of all things, like a Titan, like one of the MSI Titans, the really big laptop with the mechanical keys.
That was like the thickest.
Yeah, so like they had two of those, like they had two of those, but like the rest were just a mismatch of like different mid range and mid to high tier
I remember
laptops.
Titan is like close to like 5 to 8 kg. It's heavy.
Yeah,
It's heavy.
big,
Okay.
it's big, it's heavy, and
It's
it's
heavy.
got literal mechanical keys on it.
Yeah.
That kind of
Right.
laptop.
It's not that. It's
But
no. It's bad. It's
well,
bad. It's
but
really bad.
what was worse was that when they opened up the laptops, the first thing that came out was the Windows install screen. Because they have not actually set up these laptops before they brought it to the event.
And how long of a
This
time
was-
did you had?
Oh yeah. How long do you?
I think about 7 to 8 hours left before
7
start.
to 8 hours left.
Yeah,
And it's a mall internet. You know how? Oh my god.
Mall internet,
yeah. So
laptop fresh.
At that time, there's no 5G yet. You have to think about it. Like, if it happens right now, we have internet phone that is faster that can help install. But it's a 4G internet.
I can feel it.
yeah.
I can
Yep.
feel
I'm
it.
melting. I'm melting.
So they had to install Windows. First things first for all the PCs. Okay. After the Windows install was done, then they had to install Steam.
Okay.
And then when they once they installed Steam, then they
You
would
need to
try.
download the
Then they had to
game.
download the games.
wait,
Game, not
and-
game,
wait.
games.
wait. This is Overwatch.
Only?
There was not just Overwatch. I think it was other games as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because Steam, okay, the only I'm trying to solve the issue now. On Steam you can archive and put it on pen drive and install without internet, right?
So the thing was that they were trying to download it like
At the same time.
at the same
Oh
time.
god.
So that's where that's where I sprung into action. I was like, okay, I was because like
Stop.
yeah, I was telling them stop this right now. Stop it except for one computer.
Yes.
You have everything download on that one computer.
Yep.
And then I told Agent Gafford, it's like, get any pen drive or thumb drive you have, bring it here right now.
64 gigs.
Yeah.
64.
64K or whatever, just bring it right now. We will transfer it from that one computer to the other computer. So
Yeah,
it'll be
yeah, yeah.
much faster that way. So like we had to do that. Then we also the thing was that the marshals they brought for the event were completely green. Like they had no knowledge or idea of
Cloud is
how-
melted already.
Yeah, I just died.
Yeah. I haven't even got to the best part.
But that's
Okay.
still not the best part. No.
Alright.
So that was a shit show from the start, right? Like
I want to get ready.
and all the setup that was supposed to be done prior to the event was not done at all.
Oh.
Basically, was the case here. So like
Then?
there was no preparation from like from the organizing side. You know, there was no like plan really. There was like no briefing actually for even the marshals. So they didn't even know what to do actually. So pretty much we all had to figure out how exactly we were going to get this thing running in like T-7 hours. You know.
Okay.
Like thankfully like for Hershin's side, like he was going to be able to do his like setup and stuff because he brought all his own equipment, you know, all the cables that he needed. So his side was fine. It's just now the PCs that were meant for the tournament was completely foobar at this point.
I forgot that there's mismatch of laptops.
Yeah.
The player side as well.
So
Yes.
so I think by hook or by crook, like we literally had to figure out how to get all the software installed, you know, getting it set up, and oh boy, like later on, we had to ensure like the correct kind of like the Razer gaming software, Logitech software stuff. We had to go and also set those up because
the preference was fine.
I think there was like
Please don't tell me they're playing on the keyboard.
I think they had I think Logitech also brought their keyboard and mouse sets, so they had those.
Okay.
But knowing FES players, they will use their own
Oh,
set
of
of mouse
course,
keyboards,
yeah.
of course. So that's why we had to get like the software that's needed for that. And on top of that, like there wasn't really, like, again, there was no briefing from the marshals, and I don't think there was even like an actual tournament director for this. So I think I think it wasn't Adrian, it was Edward. Edward had to do paper brackets. Or rather paper signups. Like he had to collect the registration on paper for the players that did show up later on in the day. You know, because there's no TO.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh god.
No.
She
Yeah.
said okay. I said oh god.
Because there's more.
Yeah.
Because we haven't started the tournament yet.
Yeah.
There's bound to be more.
So so when the players arrived, like immediately they saw the computer set up. Like, what the? What are we meant? Are we supposed to do this? Or like,
I want to interview.
I guess we are. You know, so we just had to tell them straight, like, you know, the computer's going to be the different specs. So, you know, whoever really needs a spec, like the DPS players. So you guys get the Titans, and then the rest, you know, will have to figure out themselves.
But the Hidup is FPS as well.
Which is the thing, but what can you do, right? Like this is all we got. You know, they had like another table, I guess, that had other computers, but then we were assigned to the laptops. So what else? And again, this was also supposed to be a Red Bull event, you know.
Oh yeah.
So players already come
some flagship.
So players were already coming with expectations, and you know, having to deal with them coming to the event and seeing what an absolute horror show it was. It's not easy at all. But you know, credited them. Like they still decided, okay, we're gonna continue. True,
okay.
yeah, they still.
Well,
I mean, we showed up. We showed up anyway, so
I mean,
might
they
as
could
well.
walk away.
But they will not walk away with money.
Well,
Yeah,
They have online
Lucky
qualifiers
him.
before this, right? Like they're already in the ropes, or I hope.
I think so. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think because like this was supposed to be the on ground segment by this point, right?
So I play at home better lah.
exactly, right?
Kind of, yeah. I think that's kind of sentiment actually from the players. But so when it came to the actual broadcast, like okay, so I got I had to like we had to sit and commentate for this thing. Problem was that the between matches, they always end up having like issues. Like I don't remember exactly what were the issues, but like I think there were problems loading in to the game at times, or freezes happening, forcing a restart. So lots of like, I mean, again, we literally 7 hours before, there was literally no Windows on those laptops, so we had no time to stress test the system at all. You know, to check and make sure that these laptops were in perfect working order. Was like, we literally had to just make it work. You know, but
Doesn't help that the fact that they're all different models.
yeah, not at all. And again, with marshals who are completely green, so they also didn't know what to do to solve the situation.
My laptop, something happened to my games. What game is
I
this?
think there was at least one time.
Have you tried restarting?
Turn it off and on again.
Turn it on and on?
I think there was at least one time where like they asked me to go and help troubleshoot the problem while
While
while was
you
it
were casting.
not while casting, but like waiting to cast the next game. You know, that kind of situation. Yeah, but absolutely a horror show, because like me and Aswin, Wen was my co-commentator. So we literally had to like stall for time all the time, and there was one particular like delay that lasted, I think, close to 1.5 hours, and it was just literally me and Aswin talking through the whole period of time.
And you know, this was back in the day where there's no such thing as, technical issue, throw to break. No. You talk all the way.
Just keep talking. Just keep talking.
At that time, they wanted viewers more, so
They would rather still put the face on than throw to a technical break.
You know, the customer will not be angry. I don't think you will be angry if you have technical difficulty. You need to talk more. They pay you bonus a bit, like even $50 for 1 hour, 15 bucks.
yeah.
Will you take that?
I mean, of course, if there's compensation, sure.
Will you bitch about it if you get that?
No.
Okay.
But if there's like obviously nothing extra.
Yeah, if like that, so, yeah.
Like,
now you can
huh?
bitch about it, and you people can't complain that you bitch about it.
I mean, those were their no's law, you know. I mean, what an absolute horror show it was.
How did it all end?
Yo, what happened in the end?
In the end, like we were delayed for that 1.5 hour, right?
Okay.
And like it came to the point where me and Aswin ran out of topics to talk about. Like we started complimenting each other's hairstyles. So he had a big
before.
he had a really sweet like ponytail.
The weather, the hairstyle, the mustache, anything.
We were in Sunway Pyramid, so we started talking about this like there's some nice places to go inside here.
Which week was this? Is this the week that you can see outside? So you can see like, oh, is it raining outside?
So it was finally after like 1.5 hours, I think. Like then this is when Hershin like decided like, okay, we're gonna cut it right now because there's no way this.
Wait, they didn't even continue the game.
Did they finish the game?
They could, like whatever technical issues they're having, like they, this was the point where Hershin made the executive decision to like, okay, I'm going to stop you guys first. Like we're just gonna go to waiting screen or something, and then let's see if they can solve things, right? So. So finally, like me and Aswin got to actually have a break. Like we actually got to like take stock of what's happening around. We see like massive scramble going on that side because the solving whatever technical issues. And this was the point where Aswin like he noticed something weird.
Oh,
he noticed a person in uniform surveying around the place. And on top of that, this uniformed officer was taking pictures.
Wait,
and the moment Aswin he saw the guy taking pictures, he turned to me and go like, "We're getting raided."
This is the one that
yeah.
Oh my God! This is the one.
And
this is that one.
And then
it's that one.
And then so the point man for this event, or rather for intents and purposes, the project manager from TGC side. This was Muhaimin. I'm not sure if you know him. He used to work for DG, but he was working as project manager for this event here. So this is when like so we saw those officers like observing the place. Then they started wanting to talk to the EOs. So Muhaimin was the one going to talk to the inspector. Basically, the inspector came by.
When you say officer means police.
Yes, police officer.
It's not Pak Gat.
Yeah.
It's not Pak Gat.
Just to clarify.
Yeah, so uniform officers and an inspector, an actual freaking inspector came and was talking to Muhaimin. So at this point, like I got off of my seat and I was like going to Muhaimin. I wanted to find out what the F was going on here. Like
it's okay, you can swear. We're past.
We're past the point.
We are past 10 minutes. We are already 2 hours and a half.
Yeah, so I wanted to find out what the fuck was going on here. Like we've already had such a shit show for the last like 8 hours of my life in this event. Like, please tell me this is not happening, right? The Muhaimin was discussing with that inspector. Then he came over to me, and then like he whispered in my ear, "It's like you and Hershin, you guys better pack up quickly before the police come and like confiscate the stuff." So I immediately ran to Hershin and was like, "Bro,
oh
I read it exactly.
Is that bad?"
Yeah.
Okay.
I never heard of this side of the story before.
Yeah.
Yeah. The details, the deeds.
We only hear the overall.
So yeah, like literally, there was a huge risk that the police were going to come and confiscate everything at the event,
And potentially even
our setup. So that's why Muhaimin, like, he knew that like the Hershin's like whatever Hershin brought was probably the most expensive stuff at that event. So he knew that, and on top of that, it's not even TGC stuff. This was like Genesis stuff.
So save the Genesis stuff.
Save that. Like he's telling us like save that stuff first quickly. So I told Hershin, it's like quickly we unplugged everything and immediately took it away from the event as quickly as we could. But by the time I got back to the event, that's where I saw everyone was packing up everything quickly. Like it was like basically show's over. Like the guys got to pack it up like right now.
And officers were taking whatever they could?
No, the officers were observing, but essentially it came down to you guys have to pack up. Like
It's
yeah,
like a
like
final
shut
warning
down
lah.
now.
like shut down completely right now.
I give you the final warning. You don't clear out within 1 hour. Then you
Yeah,
it's
that kind
something like
of
that lah.
situation.
Yeah, whatever that's
Like,
left there is ours.
yeah,
sort of
it's basically that kind of situation. I don't know exactly how long a time period they gave them, but essentially it's like right now you must shut it down right now. So they had to pack up everything. Like
And imagine like the players, they'll be like,
yeah, like
Bruh.
we were halfway. Like we didn't even get that far into the tournament. I think maybe like a few matches, maybe.
Are they going to go back and do an online version of it, or what happened to the
If I'm
tournament?
not
I
mistaken,
don't remember.
I heard that, I mean, to the best of my memory, of so many stories patched together, they continued the tournament at the CC.
I think they continued it
that's
at
what
a
I heard
different
as well.
place. I think they
Yeah.
continued at a different
You know the
place.
cyber cafe where I can't remember where it is, but I feel like I remember they all went to that cyber cafe, played there, and
Yeah,
the one
I
have
think
like a PC di tengah-tengah dia
I
ada
think from the
projector.
point where the tournament was abruptly ended, then they resumed it at a different event.
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah, but I don't remember.
I don't think it's orange.
I don't remember exactly where they went and stuff like that. But yeah, I think essentially that's how it went down.
I don't think you can find it if you Google. This is so long ago.
Uh,
this is so long ago.
you can Google it. I mean,
Oh,
there were
really?
articles released
there
about
were articles.
this before.
Was there?
Yeah.
I only saw the photo of the pagat thing.
Yeah,
You
you
know,
can-
pagat, the police lah. The police taking the photo.
You can Google it.
Yeah,
God.
Man, whoever who's watching this will now start to Google it. It's like, wait.
No, I want to. If you guys want to comment, please do comment down. For people who are new to esports, was this
Was this what you expect?
what you expect? Would you, in your wildest imagination, would this be one of them? I really want to know like all the new esport people, because we have a lot of new people.
Yeah, because the modern like now esports, you hardly hear these kind of stories.
I don't think we have any of this
Yeah.
story after COVID.
When was the last time you heard like this kind of
Big
like?
controversy? Ansara.
but that was before COVID.
Even that was
Yeah,
before.
COVID. Yeah.
Now it's like
Everything's like cool already.
team ni gaduh dengan team tu.
And
Yeah,
some-
it's more like social media drama.
Yeah,
I think these
social media
days.
drama.
drama. It's not even real drama, you know. Oh,
No, this-
he emoted on my character like
Oh yeah.
there's nothing compared to what we or you guys have experienced.
But okay, so I mean, again, packed up everything. We had to like everything gone, done, dusted. Like, it's like what a shit show, right? Like, first time I've ever had like an event being shut down by the police. You know, so
It's by
wow.
the police.
Yeah.
It's the first
So
and the last.
okay,
I guess.
so I guess like here's the explanation about why that happened in the first place. Okay, so leading up to this Red Bull Coliseum event, like I think TGC at the time, they had like they had started sort of like their own sort of like talent thing, where they were getting together like I think like streamers, basically influencers, to kind of like build their own sort of like media thing as part of TGC. But I think what the deal that they were having with to set this up in the first place kind of fell through. So what they ended up doing was taking those same talents and putting them into roles inside the company to run events. So some people were taken as project managers, you know, things like that. So I think I'm not gonna name exactly who's the person at fault here, you know, because I honestly I feel like it's not entirely their fault because they didn't really know, you know, what was required. But basically, like the project manager who was assigned to this event was one of those people, one of those talents. So they like they really had no idea how to approach this thing in the first place. So they when it came to the prerequisites to running an event, you usually have to get permits, right?
Yeah.
So what this person did was that they went and got the permit through Sunway's own management. So because Sunway, like the Sunway group, like they were the one managing Sunway Pyramid and all the venues around there. So it makes logical sense, like get the permit through them, right?
Yeah.
But what they didn't know is that the Sunway Pyramid area also falls under the Majelis Bandaraya Subang Jaya. So they neglected to get the approval from the district.
The city itself.
city
So you need
itself.
to get 2 different permits.
So no, actually, in reality, like they need to get a permit with MBSJ.
Yeah, you need
Right.
Subang Jaya first of the land that they're building.
Because what they got from Sunway Group was just the permission, essentially, to run event at the venue.
Right.
But what they really needed was a permit from the government
What
to run
I'm
event.
hearing here is that technically, it's not the fault of the person not doing their due diligence. It's just that lack of knowledge of
Lack
what.
of knowledge. I mean, you could argue that it's a bit of due diligence involved here because this involves like government laws and stuff.
Understand. Yeah.
So there's been an element of that, but again, these people, the person who was assigned to this, they're not an actual project manager. They were talent. They were a streamer.
They were
So
also
what would they know actually about this kind of thing?
Right.
That's what it's hard to say whose fault,
But
because there's a lot of moving parts.
There are a lot of moving parts, but on top of that, this very person or actually already pulled out before this event even started. So I don't know if there was even any proper handover in that instance. So that's why things got so fucked as it was, because no proper permit. And on top of that, like what I learned from Adrian was that on top of that, there was elements within the police at the time that was super anti
esports.
In the sense, anti esports, but
That's
more
a thing?
but more it's
That was
more
back then.
but it was more that like, because you had to understand when it came to cyber cafe licenses, it gets abused a lot by gambling.
Oh yeah, okay,
Yeah.
understand. Yeah,
Right.
So
yeah,
illegal
yeah,
gambling,
yeah.
they tend to abuse cyber cafe licenses.
Yeah.
So therefore, like there was extra attention being paid to these kind of things being handed out.
At that time.
So So in particular, that's what was the offense that was pointed out by the inspector, that you guys are running an illegal cyber cafe business, which sounded weird, at first.
But technically it
But
is.
technically,
It is.
So essentially that what led to the shutdown, like a lack of, a lack of the proper permits required for the event, and the lack of actual planning. Rather lack of preparation going into that because of the things that were going on behind the scenes. So it just came together in such an unfortunate fashion.
Oh man.
That's a roller coaster and a half.
Okay, but somehow it somewhat recovered by the players playing somewhere else, and it just to get over it.
But it also meant that basically this prevented, or rather, this made it so like Red Bull decided not to continue pouring money into esports, because after that, Red Bull completely they were hands off. The first event that we actually funded ended up this way. This is so bad. We're not going to do esports anymore. So that's why you didn't see Red Bull anymore from that point on.
Wait, also, this was Red Bull, the tin was orange. It's not the blue Red Bull. Because after that whole fiasco, I don't see any orange Red Bull doing esports anymore. But I only see blue Red Bull doing.
Was this the orange one?
I think this is the orange one.
Or the yellow, orange / yellow.
I think it was a blue one, actually.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Right.
I think so. I mean, again, I'm a bit hazy on this detail.
Right.
This was way
Because
before.
again, I had other things in my mind, obviously.
I mean, of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think it was the blue, the European Red Bull. I think it was.
Right. Okay. But anyway, instead of
just
doing events, they went to do teams instead. So OG says,
Yeah.
"Hey, thanks for the dough."
We can say that it's because of us.
Oh yeah.
Wow, that's how you like to claim credit, don't you?
So no tail. And for whatever reason, you're watching this. You know the deal came to you because of this.
And also, he's in Red Giants now, so it's easier for us to communicate.
Oh, maybe that's why he's okay, here's your
better
part. Here's your portion. Okay, here's your portion. Sponsor a team here. Okay, there you go.
Oh, my face is red.
Oh man, but then okay, so you moved to TGC.
Yeah.
But I just also want to point out that disclaimer. we are kind of sweaty right now. Although the stories are really juicy.
Yeah.
So
Sorry guys, it's really spicy.
yeah,
so.
it is.
The story and the heat, everything.
Yeah, but we're also sweaty with the time as well.
Yes, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
Looking at the time.
Okay, so my first encounter of you that I remember at least was
Okay.
when you started working at TGC, and it was in Kota Damansara, and one of the best, one of the most memorable things about me encountering you is that you had the talent of playing yo-yo. Tell us about this.
So this actually goes back to
Oh yeah,
like
that's your camera.
Yeah.
You can,
that's right. So why I brought this one out here to show you guys is because of
I
this.
don't know if it's going. Oh, it is focus. It did focus,
it
but
focus
it's a
in.
bit dark.
See,
So it's actually
I'm
got
sorry
my
lah,
name in it.
V10 lah. Yeah, I know lah.
So yeah, why I brought this out was like concurrently while all the story I was telling you about was happening, like that was the same time like I was actually being involved in the yo-yo community. Like actually I was involved in this before I even was involved in esports.
right? Okay.
Oh wow, this was before.
Yeah, before
Oh,
esports.
Wow.
So how?
So
How and why?
how was basically because like I got the opportunity to see like a pro-yo demonstration back in like the 2000s.
Oh, I remember that time. Sungai Besi is where all the yo-yo people always
Yeah.
lepak.
If you don't tell me it's a yo-yo, I would think it's a chalice.
I think
be like-
I think you can legit take shots out of that.
Wow, they were
Cheers!
baby shot, man.
Yeah.
I'm going to drive tonight, so I don't want to drink too much yo-yo.
Yeah.
Oh, I have one flavor here. I don't want to get it mixed up. Okay, let's just turn.
So yeah, like while all the drama of like going on with like my university studies was happening, like there was also a time when I was getting deep into this community in particular, and in a sense like before like I've learned about the esports community and things like that, like I first learned about the yo-yoing community. And what was unique about them was that, you know, you think yo-yos are kind of like a kid's toy, essentially, like something only kids play with. But what you don't realize is that there's a giant like community of not just kids, but teens and adults. They're all vying to be like the best at playing with this thing. So there's like organized competitions, not just like locally, but internationally, and it all culminates into a world yo-yo event that's held every year in the US.
Is there a name for it, like World Yo-Yo
Yeah,
Championship?
it's literally called the World Yo-Yo Championship. Yeah. Or they
Right.
just shorten it, they call it Worlds.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sounds nice.
Yeah.
So it's more of like just an interest that you bump into, and
It's like it was something that like the first yo I got was like a pro yo, and this was back when pro was being sold at BP stations.
is this pro?
So the funny story is that so like I actually have something I want to I forgot to bring up here. Just give me a
Okay.
second.
So let's just talk.
Bring it on the table.
So you did ask before this, where was the string?
Yeah.
So there is the only knowledge I have.
Okay.
You know the one that you usually have a string attached
Yeah.
to it? This one is the one that the string does not attach to it. So the way you play is like, this one is like pro level lah.
Huh?
Yeah.
How?
This one, the string does not attach to this, it attached to itself while you...
Huh?
Okay, then let's go back to here.
Okay.
So here's a yo-yo string.
All right.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
that.
So a yo-yo string basically has
Okay.
like a loop like this.
Okay.
So let me show you the camera here.
All right.
It's got like a continuous loop like here.
Now I like this angle now.
Yeah.
I thought it was
So-
too tight before this.
Just put this over this and yeah, basically
Wait.
And you lock it.
yeah,
How do you
and
attach it?
just like that. It just loops into the bearing.
Yeah, it's there.
So there's actually like a ball bearing that's
Okay.
in here. So you just loop the string around it like that.
But how do you loop it without opening the top?
Like I did just now.
You put it in and
It
lock
was
it.
too fast.
I
you know,
untwist
was
it.
like-
I untwist it.
Oh, okay.
Open
okay.
up, so it's a loop like this, and it goes over this. So this was the innovation that like Pedro Flores was his name, the guy who quote unquote invented the yo-yo, but really he was just recreating a childhood toy from the Philippines at the time.
Right.
But this allowed the yo-yos to do what we call like the sleeper, which is where it just spins at the end of the string like this, right?
Ah.
Yeah. Because it was that loop on the string that allows them to do that. because that way it can just spin freely on the axle.
You have a lot of yo-yos.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's
How come my yo-yos are like super tight? Like in the middle, like I remember the yo-yos that I'm exposed to, like they are
not a
like.
pro. You don't
So-
get into this level.
I mean,
Including me.
So in the past, like what we had were fixed axle yo-yos. Basically, the middle here is not this metal bearing. It's just basically like a simple, like back then it was just literally a piece of wood. You carve it and you keep carving it until you have this tiny little thing in between, like that.
That's batang.
Yeah, just one batang in between. And that's where you loop the string around. So those were called like fixed axle yo-yos. So I brought these, and these is actually gifts for you guys.
What?
Wait, what?
Yeah.
What?
So
This is the first game I got it on.
No, this is our second gift.
Oh yeah, it's
The
okay.
team puff.
But on
on camera.
On camera. Yeah, so this is by a company called Duncan, and
I'm not going
Duncan.
to open this.
Oh no, this is going on my nice display
I'm not going
now.
to open this at all.
Oh no.
Oh, that makes me a bit sad.
Okay,
But
okay.
I'm opening it.
Okay, yep.
I'm going to destroy this.
We will create content to
Never mind.
unbox it.
But Duncan, they're like the originators of the yo-yo as we know it today, because Pedro Flores was a Filipino immigrant. So when he emigrated to the U.S., he recreated the childhood toy that he had, which was like the yo-yo, as they know in the Philippines. Yo-yo means like come back.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a meaning behind the name.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yo-yo means like come back, like literally means come back. And
come back.
so I think there's a bit of like a myth that like a yo-yo was originally invented as a weapon by an ancient weapon.
Oops,
Yeah, sorry.
So it's number one.
Oh, okay.
So there's a kind of a myth that like the yo-yos were originally a weapon invented by the in the Philippines.
Oh, I think I remember this.
Yeah.
It's the one that is like it's like a ninja star. It's a yo-yo.
Yeah, but it's not true. No, it's not true. Straight up, it's not true. It just shares the same name, but it was a child toy. So Pedro Flores like brought that same toy.
Yeah.
Like it basically used to be something you had to hand carve yourself.
Ooh.
But he, at the time when he was in the US, he was working as a doorman.
Okay.
So he would carve the same toy. And then while he was working as a doorman, he would play with the yo-yo to entertain the kids in the street.
It's a performer then.
Yeah, quite literally performing. So eventually, like this guy named Duncan, like saw Pedro, and he recognized that, oh, this is an opportunity to create and market this new toy. So they call it a yo-yo.
Duncan sounds like the thank you for German Duncan Chef.
Duncan.
Yeah.
I don't know what's the origin, but the guy's name was Duncan. But what was fascinating about Duncan, like if you ask any lawyer, like they will recognize Duncan the brand because it became a pivotal case when it came to trademarks.
Oh.
Because Duncan at the time was trying to trademark the word yo-yo. To prevent other companies from like copying their product, right? But what the decision came down to was that Duncan used to market the yo-yos as like if it's not a Duncan, it is not a yo-yo. That was like their tagline.
Oh wow!
So if it's not Duncan, it's not a yo-yo. Was their tagline for like forever. But when it came to that court decision, the court said that because through their tagline, they clearly defined the yo-yo as the thing, this toy, and not a property of Duncan. Therefore, it does not count. It's not allowed to be trademarked.
Oh my god!
Yeah. So this became a very pivotal case in trademark law. So
that was before the Tetris lawyer thingy happened as well.
I think that was before that. Yeah.
Yeah, because if you watch the movie, I think people already watched the movie. It's about the trademark of.
Although I think that case is a lot more complicated. But in this one, it was straight up about like Duncan wanting to trademark the term yo-yo. But because Duncan had used the term yo-yo to refer to the yo-yo, it's not trademarkable because it's like this is therefore been defined. This is now a yo-yo.
The TLDR, if people are like a bit confused, you know when you say, "Hey, can you get me the shell talk?" People don't say bug repellent anymore.
Repellent.
So
yeah, that's almost the same as this. It's Duncan is not the yo-yo. Yo-yo is not Duncan.
So where the through line comes from Duncan, this company, to this is that
are they the
after
same? Is that a Duncan as well?
No, this is not a Duncan.
Okay.
But where the through line comes from this to this is that you remember the Pro-Yo, right? So the Pro-Yo was made as kind of a response when the original owner of Duncan, he had to sell the company, and he wanted to set up then wanted to set up another company that sold yo-yos. But he decided instead of making the wooden, because like back in the day, all these yo-yos are made of wood. He decided that he wanted to make it out of plastic instead. So that's where the Pro-Yo was born. So it's like a plastic body, but with a wooden axle in the middle. Yeah. So the Pro-Yo, that's where my introduction to yo-yos was. Like the first time I saw a yo-yo being used for the first time was when Johans came to Malaysia and did a performance at the Wanutama. And Johans at the time was the son of the owner of Pro-Yo at the time. Okay. And after Johans, afterwards, he went and set up his own yo-yo company, and he called it Yo-Yo Factory. So there's quite literally a lineage for this thing going all the way back to the original yo-yo that Pedro Flores played with back in 1903.
Wow. What a history that is.
But again, when I was in university, I learned about all these stories, right? I learned a lot about the history behind these kind of toys, and going from music, to this, to that, a lot of it, this is the kind of thing that interests me so much. That stories really are what defines human history, isn't it?
Yeah.
The way we pass down the histories is often through storytelling. And I feel like my contribution, as a commentator, is that I want to do justice really to tell the stories of the people, the players who are literally playing their asses off, to become the champion. I want to do justice to their story. So taking all the inspiration that I had from, the stuff that I see, from the stuff that I've consumed, and putting it all together and really doing it because, I love this community so much. Because I love that it's that this is a kind of thing that allows people to make their own stories in their lives.
Yeah, I'm throwing you under the bus right now. You love to tell stories. But you have been telling me that you always wanted to do a video essay.
It's a kind of storytelling if you think about it.
I feel like if you were to make a YouTube channel that do storytelling, like video essay style, you have a lot of story in
Yeah.
It's been how many years have you told me you want to do it? And it's been
yeah.
It's time. It's going to take time. But I can't wait for the first video.
About yo-yos?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Is it going to be about yo-yo in Malaysia story of how yo-yo came to Malaysia?
Yeah.
That could be
Localized
nice.
version of a yo-yo story here.
It could be. I mean, again, I still...
Is there a trick? One of the trick that is originated in Malaysia? Is there?
So there is...
There is?
No. I got to preface this is that it's a bit of a silly trick, to be fair. It's the kind of thing that you bring out at parties just to impress
Is it the
What do you call that trick?
I think it's called tummy pops, and it was
the name itself also is
exactly what you think it is. But no, basically it's a
exactly
trick.
what do you think it is?
No. It's basically a trick you do freehand. Freehand is where instead of having the yo-yo attached to your finger, you attach it to a weight.
Okay.
And this was invented by Ahmad Dimi. He's actually a local yo-yo master.
Okay.
Yeah. So he invented this trick where you take the weight on the thing. You do a mount basically, and you have it swivel back and forth, and you just bounce it off your tummy. So there is a. So technically there is.
You want to try that?
No.
It sounds like a good massage though. Yeah, it sounds like, hey.
Oh my god, I did not know Malaysia had the...
Oh, we have local champions as well.
Yeah, okay, now you have to make the video because I want to know.
Okay. I'm going to switch right now. My request for the ending of this episode is not the music. I want to see a yo-yo show.
We do it there.
Yeah, we can.
This is going to be after the video. We
At
shoot
the very end.
At the very
So
end.
stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Oh my god, I did. How many are there?
How many what?
How many are they? Like yo-yo master in Malaysia?
Oh well,
Is
I think
it like a
Dimi.
ranking?
I mean, Dimi was like, I mean, we call him Uncle Dimi, and he was like the first, like the guy who is sponsored by Duncan in Malaysia.
Whoa.
Yeah, so like literally, like the guy has been like master for such a long time, but he's been instrumental in like in the community of the Malaysian yo-yo community. Basically, like he was one of the founders of that community, essentially.
That's great.
I remember the first time I actually saw him, I didn't know who he was. It was like at a alien workshop shop in Sunway at the time, and like he was just literally in front, like just playing around with a yo-yo, and I was like watching. I'm like, oh wow, it's an interesting thing.
Wow.
I didn't know it was Dimi at the time. It's until like later on, because later on, when I moved to no, not when I moved, but when I was still in KL before I went to university. Like I used to go to these yo-yo meets. They used to have it in Sunway Pyramid in front of Jayco Donuts.
Oh.
Yeah. So like you literally like it's a mishmash of people. Like you have some people who are like speed cubers. But
yeah, usually people play yo-yo, they play speed cubers.
I mean they're all referred to as like skill toys basically. So there's like different subcategories of like besides the yo-yo, there's people who do juggling. There's also people who do speed cubing. Then there's also people who play with kendamas.
Yeah,
What's a kendama?
The Chinese
The ball and cup. The ball and cup toy.
Yeah,
Oh, that one,
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the
that was
kendama.
great. I never done
Damn, I
it.
should have brought mine, but oh well.
Wait,
I
you do that too?
I told you I limited myself to 3 things.
Wait, so that means okay. When you say it's a skill based
Skill toy.
skill toy. So
Yeah.
you are a skill toy connoisseur.
Yeah.
I love that term. I
I mean,
love
we
that.
haven't even gone to the
This is all
skateboard yet.
skill toys.
Yeah, this is all skills. Like so that's why like I've gone from music to
People will say this is fake because it's still clean. So I need to ask you.
It's not
because
that
you-
clean.
It is. It's quite clean.
I mean, it's clearly you.
I mean, it's new.
Yeah, it's new lah.
It's my latest board.
Latest. So
Yeah.
He has a lot.
Yeah, that's the key word. I like that you picked that up. Okay.
Yeah, but no, like this is what I've picked up lately, and like again, I grew up most of my life like overweight and not very active. Like me and sports did not mix at all. But this was something that I decided, like one of the changes I wanted to make to my life, where I wanted to be more active. So instead of like picking up a
I can
gym,
use this.
yeah.
So that's how good it is. It's my weight it can handle.
You can?
So actually, to be honest, like I think before I picked up the board, I think it was like about 100 kilos.
Okay.
Now I'm like 97.
It's a form of exercise.
It's a form.
It is.
Dude,
Oh,
tiring,
it's
it's
very
tiring.
much so. Like skateboarding, surprisingly, like it involves a lot of your core actually. So you actually build up a lot of strength on your legs and especially your sense of balance. Like to maintain that balance requires you using your whole body effectively.
so that you can do better belly bounce or whatever you call the yo-yo thing.
Tummy pops.
Tummy bounce.
Tummy pops.
Tummy bounce.
I've got to.
Oh, whoa,
Oh,
No, but it's all lights. It's all lights.
all right.
No, I'm not scared about the lights.
It's paper.
No.
I hope so.
Okay.
Yeah.
The only thing that I don't use skates,
Uh-huh.
if I can use this with a slipper, I can play. You need shoe.
Oh, like
You need shoe. We cannot use slipper.
I mean, back in the day, like in the 70s, like they didn't have shoes. They just played skateboards like barefooted. That's how they used to do it.
I need you to touch the sandpaper.
There is no more
caveat. So caveat.
alasan. Okay,
No,
okay.
no, you touch it. You touch it. You see how sharp it is. It's actually it's sharp. It's
But
sharp.
but caveat, like back in the 70s, they didn't have this. They didn't have grip tape.
Okay,
yeah.
that's what you call it. I call it
Yeah.
sandpaper.
So if
Can
you want
you still
to,
do it
but if you want
barefooted
to, huh?
Can you still do it
you
barefooted?
would die.
You could if you want to.
Die.
I wouldn't recommend it honestly.
I would not recommend it as well.
That's an option.
Yeah, but no, I mean again, you can set up a skateboard without a grip tape, and yeah, you could probably use it barefoot if you want to.
Remove the what do you call that?
grip
The
tape.
grip
Grip
tape,
tape, yeah.
and you
Okay,
get to go. And you're back.
No, I mean not say remove, but just buy a deck and not put the grip tape at all.
Yeah.
And you're back.
Yeah.
Oh yes, my back. I fell down.
Oh man. I mean,
So much story.
But again, like regardless of what I do, whether it be like music, whether it be yo-yos, whether it be esports and skateboards, like, I mean, again, it's whatever my interest is, I just really go into it. And I think a lot of that really gives me a lot of joy sometimes to be able to share these kind of things with you guys. So
we need a part 2 when you bring us another tree toy that you play
Yeah,
with.
the steel
man.
toys. They're the
Without
steel
the-
toys.
So the other tree that you have.
Okay, but I want to like rank it, right? Like
Okay,
out of
okay.
the, at least the 4 that we have
Wow,
talked about
wow.
today, like how would you rank like 1, 2, 3, 4? Like which is the top tier for you?
Ooh, this is him.
This is
It's the pick.
what they call
guitar
pick,
pick.
yeah.
The
Yeah.
guitar pick.
Wow, I mean, to rank all these.
Yeah.
you're-
What's
you're
your true love?
True love, what goes
asking true love?
your Your-
The one true.
your girlfriend?
Wow.
It goes down.
Wow.
I don't know. And then the last one is like your ex, you know. like rank it up.
Oh wow, I mean, okay, maybe we'll start from the bottom first, I guess. Like,
Now we hear.
yeah, I think it'll be easier that way.
Awful
Yep.
joke, awful
Yep.
joke.
I know it's easier to start from the bottom. Yeah. Okay. Who's your ex? These 4.
oh. Okay, let's limit it to like what I have on me right now.
Yeah.
So like, I think right at the core, not at the core, but like at the very bottom of this, maybe like put. I mean,
He's so he's thinking so
you don't
hard
realize
about
how hard it is. Okay, it's
And
like
that's why he asked the question.
yeah, man.
You
I
know,
mean,
you,
it's
you know you sit on the hot
Okay.
seat, you're bound to get one.
3 and 4. I guess you can consider like a tie.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
Yo-yos and skateboard.
Oh wow.
Oh,
Oh,
I was expecting the yo-yo to go further up.
No,
Yeah, yeah.
I
I
mean,
was thinking I was thinking skateboard going up
Oh,
because
oh.
he plays skateboard so much.
Oh, that's above our expectations.
I mean, the
okay.
skateboard is still something relatively new for me. I mean, I only picked this up like back during the pandemic. Actually, like that's when I decided to buy my first skateboard. So it's literally like the newest thing in my like treasure chest. I guess you can consider it that way.
Right.
So that and the yo-yo still like. I mean, again, these are very fundamental in my childhood because like again, even though 2020 was when I got my first kind of like professional skateboard. But you know, like a lot of kids, I also used to have a skateboard when I was much younger. It's only now that I decided to be more serious into it. Yeah, so I would say like 3 and 4, very much a tie between these two.
Right. Okay. Number 2 and number 1.
So number 2, definitely like the music. Like,
Oh.
It's not the guitar itself, it's just the music.
Music, 'cause,
Right.
He
like
keep calling
music.
this music. He never called this a guitar.
I mean,
If you notice.
yeah, because he makes
'Cause-
music out of it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because for me, it was more like the guitar is just an extension of my love for music in the first place. Like I picked up guitar because I was a fan of Linkin Park and because I'm a fan of Death. You know, that I'm a fan of like metal music and all that.
Yeah.
So it was another core thing. I mean, it was also what gave me that journey, right, of
yeah.
becoming more confident in my abilities. So I felt that that experience of like performing music and love of music was very fundamental of that. So I had to put that number 2, like above the skateboard and the yo-yo, because like even before I picked up a yo-yo or a skateboard, like I was listening to music, you know.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
That's like the first thing, right?
Plus, your father is also a music geek as well. I would
Yeah,
say
in a
that,
sense.
yeah.
Yeah, in a
Even though
sense.
he's the oldies.
Yeah, very much different language, you know.
Right. And the one true love, I guess, is the obvious answer now.
Well,
And why esports is your one true love? Out of all these.
actually,
Oh,
Oh, wait.
wait. Actually?
actually, I wouldn't say esports per se.
God, it's not even top 4.
Okay.
I would. Okay, I would say number 1 is PC gaming.
Ah.
And the reason why I say PC gaming rather than esports is that, you know, esports, I think it doesn't represent the full like spectrum of what is what is possible within PC gaming.
Because when you say PC
It's-
gaming, it might not mean esports. It can be like any PC
I mean,
game.
especially today where like we play mobile games a lot more these days, right? MLBB and PUBG, for example. But so esports, it's kind of like a subset, I feel, of like the PC gaming space.
Yeah, it's a genre. You play PC games but the genre is esport PC game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A subgenre.
that's how-
Yeah, subgenre in that sense. But really, like when I talk about my first love or like the thing that's been core to me, starting from like literally the very beginning as I was describing my childhood, like the one thing that's always been a constant is my computer. You know, like I first started like playing Commander Keen as my first video game. Went on that to like Half-Life and Quake, and then from that to StarCraft, and then from StarCraft going on to CS, you know, and eventually to Dota. And it was through Dota 2, and it was through Dota 2 that I first started my esports career. And then from that point, Overwatch came into the picture, and that gave me like my jump start to start a career here in West Malaysia. So to me, like number one always has to be like the PC, you know, that I have, and that's like everything that I do, you know, revolves around my know-how around a computer.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like it's inseparable.
Even production, like VMix production, PC.
Yep.
PC.
Yep, absolutely. So it links all together and it kind of builds to what you are currently doing.
So to me, like esports just only represents a fraction, really, of like what this.
It's a fraction, but it's the loudest fraction.
The noisiest minority.
Literally, right? Literally.
Yeah. But especially like, I mean, I hope I'm not really overrunning the time at this point, but
Tell that to.
We are way over. I don't mind at all.
Is this like the longest episode ever?
No. You are the third. It's 3 hours 40 minutes.
It's
Number
the
one.
longest ever.
So yeah, 3 hours 40 minutes, 3 hours and 15 minutes, and this one is still counting.
Who
up
are
lah.
those? Who are those?
The first one was the lawyer. Remember?
Oh,
3
okay.
hours?
So
And the
Richard
sec-
Wee
Yeah.
is the top number one
Number
longest.
one.
you should ask Richard
No,
Wee
that's
about.
Wait, he's into yo-yos?
No. I mean,
lawyer.
Duncan.
Oh, okay. The whole
Duncan,
copyright.
asking about the Duncan case.
Also, the second is the Indonesia siapa nama dia aku
Oh,
lupa.
Ken.
Ken.
Oh, he's number two.
I think he's number one and the lawyer number two. I can't remember which one.
Okay, it's either one of
It's
those.
either one of them.
Either
Dua
one.
tu panjang
Okay.
gila.
Alright.
And you might be surpassing.
Yeah, but we do have.
We do have another guest coming
Which
with
is,
us.
he says he is lambat sikit. So
Alhamdulillah,
it's
we have
okay.
time.
Yeah.
You want to go to 4 hours? I don't think so. No, I need to edit this.
Yeah. But because you have so many other things to share about, especially your other skill. What would you call it again?
Skill toys.
Skill toys. Yeah.
I don't like the word skill toy because it sounds like a kid's thing. It's a toy.
Which thing is like fundamentally it kind of is. It's just that the misnomer I suppose is the idea that, you know, just because it's a kid's toy it doesn't mean that you don't need to learn or there's no actual skill to it. There actually is a skill to it.
Examples: Rubik's Cube. Give it to an adult, they can't solve it.
Yeah.
The world record is held by a 12-year-old. Think of that. The speed record was just broken like a few months ago.
I mean, I have tons more questions to ask about, like, let's say zooming into all these, right?
know,
Like,
right?
like we haven't even talked about like the community in Malaysia
Yeah.
for the yo-yo, and then for the skateboard, and then for music. Well, we'll talk a little bit more about music because we're getting a music expert after this. But feel free to hang around as well, or maybe, yeah.
Maybe.
Or
Maybe we can have 4 people.
Yeah, I'll let you figure that out.
We have one more microphone.
Let you figure it
I'll
out.
figure it out. Don't worry.
I'll let you figure it out.
Alright.
So yeah,
So
yeah.
how
Right. So, before we wrap things up and go to a practical session, this is our first practical closing.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So for since we did talk about like earlier on about the challenges of being in esports, and you have seen it through, and you have done pretty much everything in esports. If you guys think I have done everything, Lynn has done everything.
No.
This guy. This guy is next level. Okay. What kind of advice do you have to people who want to get into the scene and make something for themselves?
The new kids.
I think like I'm the way I'm thinking about this is probably what would I tell my younger self maybe when I was deciding about taking this path. So I think like the biggest piece of advice I would have given myself when I first started off the journey is like, never undervalue yourself. Because frankly, like, especially my experiences working in this industry is like, what I realized is a lot of times, a lot of my prime years in reality, like, has been spent enriching like other people. And I don't like I don't mean this in a really bad way, but when I think about like the years I spent with Genesis, the years I spent with TGC, like those were kind of like years of my life that I've spent basically helping their reputation, you know, helping build their empires in that sense. But what I've realized now is that, you know, throughout that period of time, what I really had done was completely neglect myself, you know, as a person. So, I mean, I mentioned like, you know, I had my breakup literally while I was like here, you know, working like in esports here, you know, like while in terms of my career, you know, I was rising up the ranks, you know, I was becoming more renowned, more well known, to the point that, you know, I've ended up commentating actual motorsports, right? So, but at the same time, my own personal life has been a complete and utter mess, you know, to be entirely honest. But a large part of that was because, like, as a young person, like, I was very driven to become a part of something that was bigger than I was, to the point where, like, I forgot to look back at myself and see, like, you know, who I am and what I've become. So especially like this pandemic, when the pandemic hit, it gave me a very long time to reflect, you know, on my choices in my life, the path that I've taken, and just that realization hit, you know, that I've actually come incredibly far. Like when I first started on this journey, like I would have not expected that this would one day lead me to literally doing a commentary like in Sepang International Circuit. Like I never thought that, you know, just by taking this leap of faith with this job offer that literally fell on my lap, that this will set me on the path right now to become the commentator when it came to TGR, Toyota Gazoo Racing Vios in Malaysia. Like to this day, like it's funny enough that I've always been kind of pegged as like the X guy, right? Like I'm the yo-yo guy, you know, or I'm the I'm the Overwatch guy, you know, for a time, and then later on it became like I was the FPS guy, you know, the CS guy,
And now the motorsports guy.
and now I'm like, and then I became the
we
sim
haven't
racing
even
guy.
gone into that yet. There's
Dude, we
so
just-
many stories to tell. Okay?
You
Yeah.
just the tip, you just show us the tip only.
Yeah.
Okay, show us. That sounds wrong. Show us the tip.
Don't worry, like I love inserting like innuendos in my casts as well.
Don't worry, no cancellation here for that.
But no, really, like it's an incredible journey, you know. In spite of everything, in spite of the hell that I had to go through, it's like it's taught me a lot of valuable lessons. And I think the most valuable lesson that I'll love to be able to give to others is like to understand the value of yourself, right? Understand that like just because that you're passionate about this one thing, that you want to give everything, even sacrificing your own like well-being for it, like just don't do that. Like remember you're still a person. You're still only one tiny part of a much bigger like world, you know. But that doesn't mean that that you can just completely disregard and ignore your own needs. I mean, again, I think back about like my decision and that decision to forge my own path in my life, and really like the core motivation of that was just the fact that, you know, I've not gotten that level of like recognition or validation in the first place. You know, I was really searching for that, and the trouble is like once I got it, it became a bit of a drug, really. It was like I was constantly seeking that kind of validation, constantly trying to find praise in that sense, you know. And but more than that, like especially when it came to esports, like it was this excitement within myself to be a part of this giant world, you know, and always wanting to put every fiber of my being, every ounce of my effort towards making this community grow even bigger, you know, to continue to progress and look at where it is like now, you know, compared to back in 2017 when I first started. It's like the journey, you know, to get there, it takes people like me, you know, people who maybe had the lowliest of roles, you know, but all coming together for the sake of this community, you know. And I think at the end of the day, like, I just have to be really thankful, you know, that I was that I had this opportunity in the first place, and really thankful that I've ended up in this position where I am today. And that's why, like, it honestly brings a tear to me when I think about Hershin, because what I didn't say was that he actually passed away like quite a while back.
Oh.
And like, for someone so young, like such an incredible tragedy, right? But I think it's incumbent upon people like us who remember the contributions that he had, you know, like what he has done, not just for myself, but for like the people around him, that, you know, we have to continue to remember, we have to continue to tell their stories in the hopes that it will inspire someone else to do the same in the future.
Yeah, and the good work that you carry out as well with the message that you sent out is also a continuation of the good work that the people, even before this, that has brought to the industry and also to the country through generations.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I'd like to end on a happier note as well.
Yep. Of course.
Yep. So we are going to do your yo-yo performance on camera. So I'll allow you to set up whatever that's needed, and I will do the official closing. So yeah, while I do.
The closing dulu, then we edit in.
Oh, you want to edit in later? Okay, I thought you want to like turn it in. Okay. Anyway. So, beautiful story indeed, but I'm very sure we have a lot more to talk about. We need part 2, 3. Because I still want to know about like the yo-yo community in Malaysia.
Oh no, that could be an episode in Terjah.
Let's go, right? Bring us to your skate park. We'll bring all these equipments. We'll record at the skate park.
Hey, who knows? I mean, it sounds fun.
Hey, but you know what? In order for us to do that, we could use some funding. But you don't need to pay us. You know, it's fine. But all you should do,
pay us for free, which is weird to hear.
Yeah, and the way to do that is to subscribe to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. So, again, thank you so much to Victor. But of course, stay tuned for the what do you call this outtake?
It's not really an outtake.
The post show.
Post show. Stay
After
tuned
dark
for
post show.
the post show, ladies and gentlemen. And hope to see you guys again in the next episode. Oh, by the way, before that, if there's any guest that you think that you want to see on the show, do let us know in the comment section, because we have tried to bring on a guest of your request before, and
It went well. So
that one went well. That one went well. Again, thank you so much to Victor, and we'll see you guys in the next episode of Podcast Tak Berlesen. Bye.
Gosh. And last one. Whoa. Whoa. The speed is scary. couldn't catch that, but no matter.
Back in my school days, the kids that's in yo-yo always gonna bully.
Oh. He had his bully stories.
Oh really? As a
Oh
yo-yo kid.
god, that was cool. Where's the speed? The speed is still there.